This is the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAT.
Gold heading back to Lawrence County.
Your home for the County of Champions.
Settles under it. The senior makes the catch. Perfection. Nishanik, again, are your Class 2A state champions.
Force out the third, and that will do it. Mohawk is your 3A softball champions.
Buzzer's going to sound. Union repeats as the Class 1A Wpial champions.
The top local athletes and the top sports moments all featured here, live or archived at lcsportsnet.com.
Sideline getting by one defender, and he's going to go all the way by Harrison. Harrison on the ground finds Blundo. Blundo rolls it in, up and good for two.
Shallow right field, giving a run, and a sliding catch made.
Down to 6 on the play clock. Here's the snap in the hole. The kick is up. The kick is long enough. It is good!
That's a fly ball deep right field. Get out of here!
Hope running for his life. Throws it up for grab. There's a man open.
Touchdown.
No way!
Ripped away from him. Right back to Stanley from the seat of his pants, and he throws it off the window and in.
Featuring over 100 broadcasts of county events in over a dozen sports. Your voice for Lawrence County sports.
The gold ball headed home to Newcastle.
This is the Lawrence County SportsNet.
Here at Montour Stadium, we're live. Montour against Newcastle, but we're going to pause first. Perfect timing for the playing of the national anthem here from Thomas Burko Stadium. Montour High School, Thomas J. Burko Memorial Stadium, your venue tonight as we have a Class 4A Parkway Conference clash. The Montour Spartans hosting the Newcastle Red Hurricanes here at lcsportsnet.com. Lawrence County SportsNet powered by LCAT. Eric Thomas alongside. I'm James Dotson. Here comes another big fun game and a road trip. Finally, Eric Thomas gets the short drive. The rest of us making the hour-long trip down from Lawrence County here to the beautiful complex at Montour. We're hoping to see a beautiful game. We're expecting potentially a lot of points on the board here tonight. Two of the top offenses in the entire WPIL going at it, Eric.
Yeah, this ought to be a really interesting game, James. I want to see two things here tonight. Number one, I want to see Newcastle bounce back from last week. Look, their stats looked pretty good last week against Aliquippa. They were not in that game after really the first quarter, midway through the second quarter. So a really big chance for them to come back and make a statement. We talked about it earlier in the week. There's been a lot of credit given to this Newcastle team, even though they got handled by Aliquippa last week, so that's a positive for them. But they have to come back tonight and show that they are a serious contender, not just in this conference, but in Class 4A in the WPIL. They have a perfect opportunity to do that here tonight. For Montour, this is really their first kind of statement game that they have because they haven't played Aliquippa yet. So I think a lot of people still want to see them handle somebody of the same ilk in terms of standings and record and all that. They took apart Blackhawk last week, and Blackhawk has a really good offense, but they want to see this team go toe-to-toe with the other top two teams in this conference. This game couldn't be any bigger. This is really, and you can point to Aliquippa last week and say, well, they're the standard, and this is how you want to measure yourself up. I think this is the game right here tonight where Newcastle has to step up and measure itself up against an undefeated team.
It is homecoming night. It is pink out night here at Montour. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see how these two teams measure up. The 4-1 Canes, the 5-0 Spartans. We'll be back in a moment. It's lcsportsnet.com, powered by LCAP.
Just like going to the doctor, our homes need a checkup too. If your home is not properly weatherized, you could be at risk for symptoms that cause unhealthy ailments and higher utility bills. The Weatherization Assistance Program is the key to reducing utility costs and increasing comfort in your home. Services include an in-home energy audit to inspect your furnace and hot water tank, check for air sealing around windows and doors, and ensure adequate insulation and ventilation. Learn more at lcap.org or call the Department of Healthy Homes to get your checkup today.
For 20 years, Melee Chiropractic has treated athletes of all ages to help them get safely back to the top of their game. Melee Chiropractic has 3 full-time doctors in their office, and all 3 are former area athletes who have had to battle injuries throughout their careers. They want to help you get safely back on your feet. But more importantly, help stop the injuries before they happen. Prehab before you rehab. Attention all high school student athletes. During your sports season, a $30 visit to the Melee Chiropractic office includes an adjustment and/or all therapy is necessary. From the athletes of tomorrow to the weekend warriors and everything in between. Let Melee Chiropractic keep you in the game.
Congratulations to our September LCAP Team of the Month. The Lawrence County SportsNet is proud to honor Elwha City Boys Golf as the September LCAP Team of the Month after finishing 15-0 undefeated in the regular season for the first time since 1979. Congratulations to Coach Sam Berry and the Elwha City Golf Team, our September LCAP Team of the Month. Lawrence County SportsNet is proud to honor Neshannock's tennis double duo Giada Capabianco and Maddie Arrow as the September Red Zone Female Athletes of the Month after winning the section's championship. LC SportsNet is also proud to honor Wilmington's Santino Toscano as the September Red Zone Male Athlete of the Month for winning the District 10 championship in golf. Congratulations and best of luck to Neshannock's Maddie Arrow and Giada Capabianco and Wilmington's Santino Toscano, the September Red Zone Athletes of the Month.
Looking for a unique way to expand your business? Advertise on the Lawrence County SportsNet and be seen by thousands of viewers in the area and around the country on over 100 broadcasts each year. Visit lcsportsnet.com and click Advertise with LCSN.
When the high school season heats up, make sure you have the best gear to support your school. Head to the Red Zone on Wilmington Road in Neshannock for all your county sporting apparel needs. From sporting goods to custom apparel to embroidery and more, the Red Zone has it all. Quality gear for all 8 schools in the County of Champions. Stop by and enter the Red Zone or visit them online at theredzonesports.com. Score big at the Red Zone.
Contractors, the Department of Healthy Homes needs you. From small to large residential projects, you can help families live safer and healthier with the quality work you do. It's rewarding in more ways than one. Call LCAP's Department of Healthy Homes today.
Back here at Montour High School, as they're going through homecoming introductions here at Thomas J. Burko Memorial Field. The 4-1 Canes, but 0-1 in conference play coming off of the loss to Aliquippa. But again, Eric, the best way to probably put it is the fact you lost to Aliquippa. Aliquippa put up 62 points. They do that sort of thing a lot, and especially Quips were coming off of a loss. You expected them to come out with a statement, and they certainly did. But Newcastle didn't give themselves any favor, especially in that first half. A couple of giveaways leading to 21 quick points. They put up 21 points, which not many teams can say against Aliquippa either. So, I mean, something to at least hang your hat on from last week, but obviously lots of areas still for this Newcastle team to improve.
Yeah, and, you know, James, they went right down the field and tied that game early in the first half, too. So it wasn't like they were necessarily out of it right away. This wasn't like just an overwhelming Aliquippa performance out the gate. I mean, they hung with them for a handful of minutes in the first quarter. It looked like they might go toe-to-toe for them. Newcastle's defense is going to have to be a lot sharper tonight. This is a very big offensive line up front for Montour, which we'll detail here in a minute. So they're going to have to get pressure on the quarterback, Trey Hopper. They're going to have to disrupt the routes of these receivers. They're going to have to really get home. I mean, I want to see a couple of coverage sacks tonight from this Newcastle team. I want to see a handful of sacks from this Newcastle team. I don't want to see this offensive line from Montour. If I'm a Red Hurricanes player, I don't want to see this offensive line from Montour dictate it. Montour's been throwing the ball everywhere. I mean, Trey Hopper's thrown for over 400 yards in a game. They look for the big play. They've gone over 60 yards on a completion in 4 of the 6 games that they've played. That cannot, under any circumstance, happen tonight if Newcastle is going to be successful. They can get in a shootout with them. I think we know that. Mm-hmm. But they just can't have the constant big play that is peppering them. And I just have this weird feeling tonight that we're going to see Montour try to get their offensive line to set the tempo and might see them run the ball a little bit more than what they normally have in games this year. Yeah,
their running back, Caleb Halajo, is – I mean, he's got over 500 yards on the year. I mean, they definitely can run the ball, but you're right. They definitely prefer to throw it. Trey Hopper with over 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Hey, that sounds familiar because that's what Kyrell Harris also has, 12 tutties with 2 interceptions on the year. But I think the big key for Newcastle, obviously Nate McKnight, he's got a touchdown in every game, including the game that only lasted 5 minutes. But it's also about KG. They got to get him going a bit more. He kind of didn't get much in the ground game at all last week, but again, 3 touchdowns through the air from Kyrell Harris. They need to get that balance, kind of like we saw in the knock game 2 weeks ago, both ground and pound and the aerial attack. And they need to strike early. Too much falling behind in these games. They need to be with them in the first quarter if they want to be with them in the fourth quarter.
And they're going to have to do better on third down. They can't have this 17% average that they've been stuck on all season long be a factor in this game here tonight. They're pretty good on fourth down. 33%, which actually, I mean, 33% doesn't sound great, but when you're considering that it's the down, it's do or die on that down. 33% is a really good conversion rate. And you're right about Gardner. I mean, he had a great game against General McLean. He had a great game against Knock. He's been relatively quiet since. He had 173 and 192 in those 2 games respectively. 8.5 yards a carry, though. He's a home run hitter. This team has home run hitters everywhere. They just have to do their job up front. They can't allow – this is a Montour defense that's going to disguise some coverage. They're going to show a lot of pressure off the edge. They're going to be really aggressive. They like to get after the quarterback. Think back to what they did against Central Valley, too. Now, Central Valley is a much, much different team than what Newcastle is. They are more power run-oriented. They needed 39 carries to get 154 yards against this Montour defense. That's not good as far as an average goes. So this defense has shown that they can shut down high-powered offenses, be it one side of the ball or the other. Newcastle's going to have to come out tonight, helmet on a helmet up front, give these guys the time that they need, give Kyrell Harris the time, open up a couple lanes for Gardner. It really has to be, we just said about the Montour offensive line can't dictate this game, but it has to be about Newcastle's offensive line, I think, doing that tonight.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll have our pregame interview, our AXE pregame interview with Coach Fred Mazzacco of the Newcastle Red Hurricanes. Back in a moment. It's the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
Hey, Mom, do you need a ride to the store today?
Oh, no thanks, hon. I got it covered. Mike's taking me.
Okay, well, you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, right? I can take you to that.
No, I got it covered too. Mike's taking me.
Mike?
Yes, Mike's my AXE driver. Picks me up right at my door and even helps carry my groceries. It's so convenient to schedule and ride with AXE. Wish I would have called him sooner.
Okay, Mom. Sounds like you got it covered.
I have an apple pie ready to eat. How about you help me with that?
When it comes to shopping for insurance, there are thousands of options out there. MVP Insurance proactively shops and compares your policies to find the best coverage and rate. Josh Montour and David Verratti want to provide you with the level of personalized service that you know that you are the MVP of their agency. They simplify insurance so you can live stress-free. Visit one of the locations in Xenia Leopold or in New Springfield, Ohio. Call MVP for the win. Proud sponsor of the MVP of the game on the Lawrence County SportsNet.
Works in Progress Painting wishes a successful and satisfying season to all the Lawrence County sports teams and athletes. Work hard and bring honor to your team, school, and family in how you play. Joe Wright and his family have been providing painting, window cleaning, and other property services for business and homeowners in the Lawrence County area for over 10 years. Their goal on every project is to provide a meaningful service that honors their customer, God, and their family, and to have fun while doing it. Works in Progress is now booking interior painting projects for both residential and commercial projects. Call Joe today at 724-714-4294 to discuss your next project.
Tired of gasoline costs? Why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Serving the city of Newcastle and stops throughout Lawrence County, as well as weekday service to Pittsburgh. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or for route schedules, log on to newcastletransit.org. The Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Back here in our pregame show, time for our Axe pregame interview here with Coach Mazzocco of Newcastle. Coach, 0-1 to start conference play, obviously a tough opponent, another one here tonight. We were just chatting, talk about the biggest key of trying to eliminate some of the mistakes that you guys had in that game against the Quips.
Yeah, when you play a great football teams like Wpial, like we're going to play Montour tonight, you can't afford to make mistakes. And, we certainly made our share of them last week. Gave them 21 points, handed them 21 points in the first half. And, it's hard enough to stop them, let alone giving them points. So we're going to try to eliminate that tonight. And we want to be in a football game in the fourth quarter with a chance to win it.
Another, good offense here tonight in Montour, a team that likes to throw the ball, likes to go vertical on it. What's the biggest thing defensively you do to counteract that?
Yeah, I think we have to get pressure on the quarterback with our front four. We got to start getting some pressure on them without blitzing. So that's a key to it. The quarterback puts the ball right on the money, so we got to make them uncomfortable in the pocket.
Offensively, what's the key to try to get KG going a little bit more in this first half, especially?
Yeah, we definitely got to get KG going. We worked a lot on our run game this week, and especially up front with our double teams and our combo blocks, and just went back to basics this week. So hopefully we reap the rewards of that this week.
One final question, Coach. 3 games to start conference play, all on the road. What's the biggest key in any game going on the road and trying to take care of business, especially in hostile environments and against tough teams?
Yeah, I think you just got to keep your cool. You got to be yourself, and you can't get too excited. You got to stay on an even keel. Last week, we may have psyched ourselves up. We were so pumped up for the game, it may have worked against us. So we're going to try to be more on an even keel this week and just come out and play Newcastle football.
Good stuff, Coach. Go get them.
Yep, thank you.
And we'll be back after this timeout with opening kickoff, starting lineups, keys to the game as well here from Berko Memorial Stadium. Montour against Newcastle, here in the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
Right now, someone very special needs your help. This is Jack Lynn, CEO of City Rescue Mission. No one is beyond God's love and care. One person's life can affect another. Though you may never meet this person, you can make a difference in his or her life. Hurting men and women in our community desperately need food, shelter, and physical and spiritual care. Some are struggling with abuse and addiction. They feel alone, unloved, and forgotten. Individual, caring people provide their hope. You can help change the lives of men, women, and children. Visit cityrescuemission.org and help us today.
At Montour Bonner Law, we're more than just attorneys. We're your community partners. With a combined experience that spans decades, attorneys Jason Medor, Michael Bonner, and Greg Rossitelli are your trusted advisors for all legal matters. From personal injury to estate planning, business law to family disputes, we are here to guide you through every step of the legal process. Our full-service, community-based approach ensures that you're not just a client, but a valued member of our family. Give us a call or visit us online at MedorBonnerLaw.com for more information.
GEM building contractors and developers have a proven record of performance on any size project. They bring value, local craftsmanship, expert management to meet any challenge. From design construction, from inspection to budget estimation, GEM Builder has been building our community for 70 years.
From high school to the pros and everything in between, you're listening to City View Sportscast, part of the iMedia One network.
We thank our fans there at CityView as well. Our CityView broadcast each week. Our other broadcast is the one's going to be on CityView Radio here this evening. Shenango hosting Rochester. Call it the Matsook Bowl, as you have Coach Gene Matsook returning to his alma mater, 25-year head coach there at Rochester. He had some pretty successful and long-term coaches here, although it is the first year for Fred Mazzacco at his alma mater here at Newcastle. But when you look at things, Eric, I mean, of what he did in his 12 years at Neshannock, hit the 100-year win plateau last year, and then got Lucero, who's been doing it for 20-plus years. Started at Seton LaSalle, a couple Wpial championships there, then comes to Montour, gets a Wpial championship there in 2011. He hit his 200th win in his career last season. So you got two guys who know their stuff when it comes to the X's and O's and to playing big-time football in a big-time way.
Yeah, definitely two of the best, and Coach Cerro goes back to those Seton LaSalle teams. Not really much as far as how he runs things and how his teams have played has changed under him. I mean, he threw the ball a good deal when he was at Seton LaSalle, had a chance to see them a couple times when he was the head coach there. It speaks to his credit and how good of a coach he is when you can take a kid who's a first-year starter in Trey Hopper and you replace a guy who was your leading passer and rusher a season ago. And Hopper, he doesn't have the rushing stats that Jake Wolf did a season ago, but his passing numbers are on pace to supersede what Wolf did a season ago. So it just speaks to the type of program that Lucero runs. I had a chance to talk to him a little bit this week, and he's focused. I mean, he's not one of these guys that looks ahead and cares too much about what other teams do. It's just we're 1-0. It's right in front of us. Let's go get it. And if we win this week, then we can worry about trying to win next week too. And for Fred Mazzacco, I mean, again, he's the runaway coach of the year in 4A, if you ask me, if this team gets in the playoffs. I don't think anybody expected them to compete and be what they are and light it up like they've been doing so far this season. Now, along with that comes a little bit of pressure. Not a lot tonight, but a little bit, because they got to win this big game tonight.
It is a big one tonight, and as you heard Coach talk about, with the 3 straight road games to begin the conference season, and against what you assume at the beginning of the year and what all the experts put as the top 3 in the rankings in terms of this Parkway Conference in Aliquippa, Montour, and West Allegheny. But we talked about it multiple times on the Beyond the Scoreboard podcast. What did Coach Mo tweet out right at the beginning of the year? That exact thing that showed Newcastle finishing where in the conference?
Dead last, I believe it was.
Yes,
yeah.
I believe so too. And very few saw this team coming into conference play with an undefeated record. Knew it was going to be a challenge going to Heinz Field there at the pit. You know it's going to be another challenge here at Montour. But, again, this is a Canes team that I like what they said. They almost overhyped themselves maybe a little bit when they went down to Aliquippa last week. And they played excited, but maybe too excited at times. So will they be able to make those adjustments early on? I think is going to be one of the big keys to watch for. This first quarter is going to be very telling of how the entire game is going to go, because both these teams have had first quarter issues of getting to that quick start there, Eric.
Yeah, last week Montour didn't score until there was 9:44 to go in the half, and they were down 8-0 at that point. All they did from that point on was rip off 43 straight points. So, yeah, they have that kind of explosive offense, and to be prepared.
From 16.9-ounce bottles to 5-gallon jugs. Perfect for your next event or office water cooler system. Also, don't forget to ask about their custom labeling options. Visit PenOhioBottled.com for more information and to get a quote on their delivery services. Whether it's at home, in the office, or on the sidelines, Penn Ohio has you covered.
7-0 Montour right down the field, a 12-play drive. Eric Thomas, I mean, that's just what the doctor ordered. They converted on a 3rd down and a 4th down on that possession.
Yeah, we talk all the time about, and we have this week, about what Montour's offense has done this season and how quick they are and the big play ability, but they've done that numerous times this season. 10-play drive. They had a 15-play drive against Central Valley. They are willing to extend some clock and work the ball down the field.
Trying to get to the outside. If he does, he's got some room. Big return coming from Rondell McClinton. He's going to get across midfield, but a laundry list of flags thrown back at the 40-yard line. Looked like a lot of space, but a lot of illegal blocking of sorts on that far side.
Of course, the assumption always that if there's space for the guy to return the ball, there's got to be an illegal block somewhere. They're going to get Newcastle for a hold that time, and it's one of those cases where it's unfortunate because it looked like he might have been past the initial contact, but the ref's going to throw it.
Okay, so now let's take a look at the Newcastle starting lineup. Again, your starters brought to you by the Crane Room. By the way, tonight's winning word Saturday. We'll talk about why the winning word is Saturday in a moment, but say the word Saturday when you show up tonight on Friday night and get a free Crane Chips appetizer. Kyrell Harrison, senior quarterback, Kayvon Gardner, senior running back in the backfield with him. Damian Harrison, Travis Wetzel, and Nate McKnight, the wide receivers. You'll see Chase Lemon in the slot, Quaylen Davis as the tight end, Jaden Schaefer, Joseph Picaro, Marcus Diaz, Demetrius Fambro, and Brian Stevens on the line. Quick pass out into the flat and getting pushed out of bounds on the far sideline was Travis Wetzel, making just his 4th reception of the year, but a good pickup ahead of the chains. That's an 8-yard pickup.
And it's a good, safe throw to get Harrison a rhythm early in this game, too. I like that route. I like the quick. Harris didn't look at anybody else. He was going that side the whole way, but it's a good, safe throw. It's going to be important for him to get into a rhythm early on. His 2 best games of the season came the first 2 weeks of the season, so they need him to be that spark on offense again tonight.
Trips left, handoff, first carry for Gardner, bounces outside. He's got the first down. He's got room to the 45 near midfield. Good pickup, about 11 yards, and moving the chains. There's exactly what we said, one of the keys, the unofficial key to the game, get KG working early.
See, I think the biggest difference in this game between these two teams, James, where Montour might have the concept and the skill and the smarts at the position, Newcastle just has that speed. They have the skill, the smarts, and the speed. There's a little alternative there in how they run their offense and what they can do to exploit this Montour defense. You saw it on these first couple of plays with some fast routes and a fast run.
Tough time to even get the ball handed off on that one because coming right up the gut was Nico DeMichael from the linebacker position is going to get him for a loss of 2.
Yeah, Newcastle's going to have to play tough up front tonight. This is a big, big front. Again, most of these guys, with the exception of the edge guys, Amir Gary and Dylan Rogers, you got those 2 big dudes in the middle that play on the offensive line, so they can create some space. Onus on guys up front like Marcos Diaz tonight to really hold their own.
Trips left, pitch to the right, but no one was there, but that's going to be a forward pitch. It should be an incomplete pass. He pitched it forward. I don't think the refs see that, though.
Gardner wasn't even looking for the ball. He was taking off like he was going to run some type of wheel route, and there was just a mix-up there with him and Harris, and
yeah,
Gardner's going down the field, and Harris is like, wait a minute, where's my running back at?
Now, they need to be discussing this because that pitch was definitely forward. I think they're going to have that discussion right here, Eric, because I think it was supposed to be a lateral, like a sideways pitch, but it's when the last second when he saw that the running back wasn't paying attention, he pitched it forward. Yeah, they will fix it. That will be an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 12 rather than 3rd down and 16. Interesting.
Here's the down and distance again, James. 17% on 3rd down this season. This is a money down in any game, but particularly tonight for this Newcastle team, they cannot convert at 17% in this game and expect to win.
Well, it's tough to convert when it's 3rd down and 12 as well. Don't need it all, though. Maybe if you can get some of it, you consider on 4th down. As McClinton, the running back, he picks up a big block down the far sideline. The pass is going to be just a little bit over the head of McKnight. In coverage there, I believe, was Daniel Batch, and the punt team coming on for Newcastle.
It was a good throw because he's trying to lead his receiver down the field, but McKnight just had to kind of stop the route. He thought it was going to be a little bit shorter. The coverage was there, but again, a good throw by Harris to put that out of reach from the defender and just try to lead McKnight a little bit down the field further.
Omar Thomas will be the one to boot it away, averages about 35 yards per punt on the season. Both these teams have a multitude of return touchdowns, whether it's kickoff, punt return, or pick 6.
Well, he's going to have to be good tonight, too, especially if they're going to be in a hole.
Flag thrown right at the snap. This is probably going to be a formation penalty against Newcastle as the ball's going to bounce, take a Canes bounce inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. So currently a 36-yard punt, basically right with his average, but we'll see what the flag is. Well, I have a moment to give a quick shout-out to Shenango. How about that for a quick out-of-town scoreboard there from Newcastle Transit Authority. A 14-0 lead early over Rochester there at Glenn Pop Johnston Stadium.
That Rochester team, we saw them a couple weeks ago take on Neshannock, and they're not quite ready for prime time. They haven't been healthy the entire season, and they just are trying to sort of patch it together now the rest of the way. But that's a team that – a little surprising that they've had the struggles that they've had tonight. This is a good game for Shenango to come back after last week's setback to Neshannock and stay on pace, and right now they got that early advantage. They look like they're doing just that.
It was a legal formation. They will re-kick. By the way, your officials tonight, referee is Darren Tatala, Michael Widrich, the umpire, head linesman George Myford, Scott Whipke, the line judge, Drew Flora, the side judge, and Bill Kennedy is the field judge. So another kick here coming from Omar
Another
Thomas.
flag.
Another flag. This
too.
one's almost blocked. You're right, Eric. Bounces straight up at the 40, and then a push after the play way back.
This was right when the ball was snapped again.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm Montour, I might just take the ball.
After that punt that was only
Yeah.
about 20 yards.
Yeah. I might decline this if I'm Lucero because they got pretty good starting field position, better than what they would have had on the last punt. What is backing them up really going to do? And they will decline it. That's a good move by Lucero. That's a veteran head coach that knows down and distance, it's going to be imperative for Newcastle to do some of the small things here, especially if they're going to play from behind early in this game. The punts have to be good. The protection has to be good. They have to play a little bit more field position. Have to see this. This is a must get off the field for this defense on this drive. And I hate to say that with 5:45 to go in the first quarter. If they go down 14-0 in this game, James, I understand they've come back all year. I understand that their offense is lightning in a bottle sometimes. This is a get off the field possession right now if you're the Red Hurricanes defense.
So a 5-yard penalty essentially results as a 15-yard gain, as the punt was to the 17, but now they're going to start 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. Will Montour just midway through this opening quarter. Already a 7-0 Spartans advantage. Trips left. They're going to throw on a quick bubble screen, having to go backpedal to make the catch, but then quickly up the field on the reception is Andrew Alston. You can see the athleticism on the catch. His 30th of the year, but then quickly up the field, close to the first down marker.
Led this team in receiving last year with 42 receptions for 815 yards. Had matchups on that corner. You got big linemen like Jaden Schaefer that are chasing after him, and all the speed at the linebacker spot in the secondary is up the field trying to cover. Nobody could get back there fast enough. That's an excellent design play on first down and a good chunk of yardage, and this Newcastle defense continues early on to be on their heels here a little bit.
4 straight completions now, make it 5 after this one's dumped to the near side again to Alston. First down and more to the 45, spun out of a tackle and knocked down just shy of midfield. It'll be a 10-yard pickup. We said it. They like to go down the field, but they're realizing, Newcastle's playing not really a prevent, but they're not giving the deep pass. They're taking advantage of the little ones.
And I like what some of these skill guys are doing here early in this game, too, because it's not necessarily the linemen that are downfield blocking. They had one of the guys, Habadell, who was down there blocking, but it was really just some of the skill guys. Platts was down there throwing a few blocks. So was one of the receivers.
Handoff up the gut. Not much room, but across midfield is the tailback. 3rd carry of the game for Caden Halagio. Picks up 3. 2nd down and 7 coming up.
Yeah, no surprise again that they're really trying to establish a run game. That's a matchup that they have to feel pretty comfortable up front winning with the size of this offensive line. So good game for them to try to work on getting their run game going. They're going to need a run game later in the year. They got 2 big matchups left with West Allegheny and also Aliquippa.
7-0 lead here in the big one in the second conference game of the year, and not nearly as much room this time on the right-hand side for Halagio. Gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 5, though, and they're staying at least ahead of the sticks.
And see what else they're doing, too. How much time you got left on the clock here in the first quarter.
Yep.
They've had the ball for almost 85% of this actually almost 90% of this first quarter. That's this controlled passing game, no chances down the field. Trying to wear out Newcastle early in this game, and they've done a pretty effective job of that thus far.
Quick pass to the near side, 3rd catch of the drive, but not much room to the short side of the field for Alston. In fact, may have even lost a yard. 4th down, call it 5, and, kind of in that no man's land again. Coach Cero, is he going to roll the dice the second time?
You definitely do when you're up 7-0. There's no question I'm wrong here because they're going to punt the ball. That's a little surprising.
Yeah, I was with you. I thought they would go for it, but they're going to play a little field position.
If they've done their homework, James, they cannot kick this to Nate McKnight. I mean, I would kick that ball 50 yards out of the back of the end zone. Mm-hmm. I would kick it up to the softball field if I could to keep it away from that kid. There
were some punt issues in the last couple of games, too. Let's see if the snap is better. It is this time. Stepping into it is Davis. It's going to be a low bouncer, and it's going to be picked up by McKnight. Makes the first man miss, trying to get to the outside. He's got room. Look out. To the 30, to the 40. It's going to come back for a blindside block.
Got to be kidding me all the way back there. He's 15 yards beyond the flag.
Yeah. If you know what, Eric, if it's a hold, I think that they would let that go, but you can't come back to the point of attack. That's more of a safety issue. That's why that's got to be a blindside block to be called. I get what you're saying. It's beyond the play. It had no impact on the play, but that's That one's more of a safety. If it was just a hold or a block in the back, I think they probably let it go. But that does negate a big return, and Canes will start inside their own 20-yard line.
A couple of times they've been bitten here early on by the flags.
Both on special teams, too.
Unfortunate. The game already feels like it's more than 7-0, and that's a bad thing right now if you're Newcastle. A couple things have not gone their way. They need a big – they don't need to get it all back here on one play, but they need to establish some offense here and keep that defense off the field for a little bit and show Montour that this offense can hang with them point for point.
Well, it looks like they officially called a block in the back. They only marked off 10 yards back to the 14. So that's where Newcastle will take over. Just over 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Backwards pass to KG. Steps inside, out to the 15, and that close to the 20. Good pickup of 4 or 5 yards on first down, out of bounds.
Again, a good safe throw. One of your best outlets you can get the ball in the hands of. He's a guy who, on the season, only has, up until that point, 4 receptions. So maybe they try to get him the ball in some space and throw it to him a little bit more in this game. If the coverage is going to be tight on guys like Lemon and McKnight and nothing's open, you have that outlet in the backfield. And haven't tapped into it much this season, but let's see if they maybe go back to that here some more tonight.
Second down, zone read. They're going to hand it to KG. Bounces outside. Not much room there as he's gobbled up by a couple of Montour defenders on the far sideline. Gain of 2, though. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Medilli, the linebacker, Cole Medilli, the linebacker, steps up, makes the play for Montour. Just an excellent job to get up the field, not allow Gardner to get to the edge. We talked about the Montour backs getting to the edge and following that offensive line on that left side. That's the exact same thing that Montour can't allow Newcastle to do. Can't get to the edge, especially when you have the kind of speed like Gardner out of that backfield, and that was an excellent play by Medilli, the linebacker, to make sure that didn't go anywhere.
3rd down. Keeper for Kyrell Harris tries to go up the middle, but he again is stopped, coming right up the gut from that linebacker position. I believe it was Medilli again.
Had nowhere to go with it, and just no space in the middle. I mean, the middle gets clogged up. He thinks about going to the outside. You can see it there, the split second, the start of the play, he thinks about going to the outside and then realizes, now maybe I better cut this back and try to catch somebody off guard, and that door slams shut pretty quick.
Yeah, Medilli stayed at home, as you saw there on the LCAP instant replay. 3 and out for Newcastle, and already some punting issues. A short punt and a couple of illegal formations. No flag thrown here, but it's a punt off the side of the foot. Actually, I say that, and the flag was thrown right into the middle of the pile as this punt is going to be smacked. This is still a live ball here, Eric. They got to go and grab that. This is still a live ball. Now finally Newcastle will go and grab it there by Quaylen Davis, but we'll see what the flag is. A low block called against Newcastle. Another penalty on special teams.
Well, what did Freddie Mazzacco talk about in the pregame tonight about some of the mistakes that they made last week against Aliquippa? And already you've seen that rear its head now. This is now going to be the 4th penalty on special teams tonight against Newcastle. You cannot put yourself – and now, if you're Montour, you don't take the last penalty because you got pretty good starting field position off of that punt. This one you take, you back them up, you force them to punt shorter, with less field to work with. And you hope that you even get this ball on your own side, that you want to be in Newcastle territory off the punt. You don't even really want to have to worry about a return. Let it die and just still be on the Newcastle side of the 50.
Yeah, they'll decline a penalty, take it at the 46-yard line. You see the scrolling scoreboard at the bottom of your screen, your Newcastle Transit Authority going your way out of town scoreboard. Why drive when you can relax and ride with daily routes to Pittsburgh as well as routes all around the county? Visit newcastletransit.org for more information and for route schedules. And I say that the low block, they're going to mark a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, actually, Eric. So even better field position starting at the Newcastle 36-yard line. Already a 7-0 advantage. And flag before this play can get underway. Mohawk 7-0 over New Brighton. Union 8-0 over Beaver Falls early on in those games. Shenango with an early 14-0 lead over Rochester. 7-0 Montour over Newcastle here, and that's the extent of the games tonight, believe it or not. 4 games tonight, 4 games tomorrow for Lawrence County teams. As Newcastle, 5th penalty now accepted against them, going to be called. Actually, 5th against them after that offside penalty.
Can't be giving this team any more yardage. Short field already because of the punt. Now you add the penalty onto it, and then you've given them more yardage here. Newcastle's going to have to regroup here in the next 92 seconds and really start playing a little bit more disciplined here and stop with the penalties in this game. This is just 7-0, but this just does not feel like it's swinging in their favor.
Going for the end zone on first down, right up the seam, and it's going to be knocked out at the last second. Great closing speed, Kayvon Gardner, to poke it away from Alston, the intended receiver.
And he really did close on that. Excellent job to close on that pass. There's double coverage down there, and Hopper really trusting his arm. He put that right on the gloves, but Gardner's showing why he's one of the better players on this team and really getting up on that fast, saving a touchdown here.
Breaks a streak of 5 straight completions from Trey Hopper. 2nd and 5. They'll hand it off up the middle. Not a lot of running room. The Newcastle run defense has been strong here. Gain of 1, 3rd and 4 coming after that Halagio carry.
And the big guy, Marcos Diaz, steps in there to make the stop. But I do like what Montour's doing here early on. I mean, they're going to the running game. They want to establish that offensive line. These dudes up front are not small for Newcastle, for Montour here. They are trying to establish this and really balance out their offense a little bit, keep the pressure off of Hopper, literally keep the pressure from the edge off of Hopper, and so far it's worked.
10 on the play clock as they're going to go check with me. Less than a minute to play here in the opening quarter. Down to 5 as they quickly try to reset. Will they get the snap off in time? Yes, they do. Halagio up the middle, bounces outside, and that's going to be enough for a first down inside the 25, down inside the 20. Inside the red zone with that 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, good job running this time. They worked the left side early in the game. Now they're working the right side. Guys getting up the field to throw blocks from the skill position. You had one of the linemen getting up the field to throw a block that time. They may not have to run a play here to close the quarter. You know, I said earlier about Lucero, and he's not the kind of guy that looks ahead and says, okay, well, we're going to, we worry about Alec Quipp and all that now. But the reason that they're doing this running game here in this first quarter and trying to establish this, how are they going to have to beat Alec Quipp when they play him? How are they going to have to win playoff games when they get into them? They're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to keep Alec Quipp off the field. They're going to have to, offensively, they're going to have to neutralize some of these teams by running the football. And in the first quarter, they may not have the gaudy stats, but I think they've done an effective job at keeping Newcastle at bay with the run game.
That's the end of the first quarter. Montour knocking on the door already with a 7-0 lead. Back in a moment here at lcsportsnet.com.
Don't get left out to dry. Call the Penn Ohio Bottled Water Company for the fastest and most efficient bottled water delivery service in the area. Penn Ohio offers bottled water ranging from 16.9-ounce bottles to 5-gallon jugs, perfect for your next event or office water cooler system. Also, don't forget to ask about their custom labeling options. Visit PennOhioBottledWater.com for more information and to get a quote on their delivery services. Whether it's at home, in the office, or on the sidelines, Penn Ohio has you covered.
Congratulations to our September LCAP Team of the Month. The Lawrence County SportsNet is proud to honor Elwha City Boys Golf as the September LCAP Team of the Month after finishing 15-0 undefeated in the regular season for the first time since 1979. Congratulations to Coach Sam Berry and the Elwha City Golf Team, our September LCAP Team of the Month.
Shout out again to that Elwood City Golf Team, undefeated for the first time since the 70s. How about the Elwood City Football Team? They're going to have a big challenge tomorrow. They're undefeated for the first time since the mid-80s. Montour here in the Red Zone. Let's give a shout out quickly to your Red Zone athletes of the month, the duo tennis team from Neshannock, Giada Capabianco and Maddie Arrow, top 5 team in Class 2A doubles tennis, as well as the champion from District 10, Santino Toscano. Big shout out to all them, and shout out to the Red Zone again. Make sure you visit them on Wilmington Road in Neshannock Township for all your county sporting apparel needs. Remember, Spirit Sales can help you score big at the Red Zone. Montour looking to get a big score, trying to double their advantage. Already a 7-0 lead. 1st and 10 at the 20. Stutter step from Halagio, nowhere to go as he is eaten up after a short gain. I believe it was Quaylen Davis coming around to make the tackle after a gain of 2.
He might have had a little bit of a hole there to start the play, and then Mike Harrison, you mentioned Davis, converged for the stop. They really cut that lane off quick, and that's why he had to stutter, because he thought there was space there, and all of a sudden he saw a white shirt in front of him and nowhere to go. Good play defensively for Newcastle to start the quarter.
Spartans controlling the clock controlling the game. 18 plays so far, just 8 for the Canes. Play number 19 on the quick slant is going to be too far out in front of Daniel Batch. Good tight coverage from McKnight. 3rd down and long coming up, 3rd and 8. But again, you might think of this as 4-down territory. A long field goal of the year of just 28 yards.
Nate McKnight that time quite literally in the hip pocket on his coverage. That was textbook coverage by the corner, and he's in position to get a hand up if he needed to. And this, Newcastle's defense, I don't think it's played terrible here early on, but they need to come back here and get a big stop. They need a big play. They need a momentum shift.
3rd and 8. They're going to go one-on-one down the far sideline looking for the back shoulder throw, but again, on him like glue in the hip pocket. McKnight all over Daniel Batch. 4th down and 8, and looks like the field goal team coming out here for Coach Serra.
Yeah, and again, the tight coverage by McKnight, he pushes Batch out towards the boundary, if you want to call it that, in the end zone there, and really nowhere to go with the ball. Even if he gets a hand on it, pulls it in, he is going to be out of bounds pretty much when he comes down with it. So McKnight pushed him towards that sideline or the side of that end zone between the pylons, and just an excellent job on coverage. 2 plays in a row, forcing the field goal. Newcastle's going to get out of here with minimal damage.
34-yard attempt on the way. It's got plenty of leg, and the kick is good. 4 for 4 for field goals on the year for Braden David, and that's his longest of the year, a 34-yarder. Makes it a 10-0 Montour lead over the Canes early in quarter number 2. We'll step aside, be back in a moment. It's the Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
When it comes to shopping for insurance, there are thousands of options out there. MVP Insurance proactively shops and compares your policies to find the best coverage and rate. Josh Montour and David Verratti want to provide you with the level of personalized service that you know that you are the MVP of their agency. They simplify insurance so you can live stress-free. Visit one of the locations in Xenia Opal or in New Springfield, Ohio. Call MVP for the win. Proud sponsor of the MVP of the game on the Lawrence County SportsNet.
Thank you for calling Axe. Where can we take you today?
To work, to the store, to Grandma's house. Axe can get you there, but it's much more than a ride. It's a joyride.
I'm helping people. I'm getting them out of their house. I'm taking them to their doctors, to the grocery store.
They say I'm entertaining. Okay, we laugh, we joke, we sing, we tell stories.
They're like family to us.
Even if it's the same day, to schedule your joyride, call Axe today.
Chase Lemon on the return, gets up the middle, fakes through a couple of tackles and reaching out towards the 45-yard line. You mentioned earlier there, Eric, that you'd want to kick it away from Nate McKnight, but you got to remember Chase Lemon's got himself a punt return touchdown on the year. Nice kick return there of about 25 yards. Best starting field position by far coming for the Canes, trailing 10-0.
Yeah, and they get out of that last drive, James, with minimal damage. I mean, they force the field goal. That's a win unto itself. They get 2 really tight coverage plays by Nate McKnight, so I think all in all, right where you want to be if you're Newcastle. You didn't give up a touchdown. You're still within striking distance and good starting field position here for your offense. Now it's time to get some points.
Handoff for Kayvon Gardner, tries to break it to the near sideline. He does. He's got room across midfield. 1st down and more to the 40-yard line before he's finally pushed out of bounds by the last line of defense. Daniel Batch basically preventing 6 there as KG showing his WPIL championship speed there to the outside.
I have no idea how he got through those 2 defenders. You can see it right here. I mean, this is just an excellent job to keep your feet moving and find that, I mean, just a sliver of field right there to sit right through the 2 defenders and then turn on the jets, show that speed. We get a quick officials timeout here.
Just officials timeout, yep. I think they noticed something. Nico DeMichael's going to have to come off of the field, at least for one play. Caden Halagio will check in for him.
By the way, shout out to the Montour side tonight. You see those players out there with the pink on for the month of October, and the student section and the cheerleaders all decked out in pink shirts tonight. Really like to see that here as we get in the month of October.
Don't like to see, though, another procedure penalty against the Canes. 6 penalties already. Accepted penalties, I should say. 3 of them have been of the dead ball pre-snap variety.
Yeah, you can't be doing this in this game. I mean, this is, you learned last week some of the mistakes you make, and you have to come back and be efficient with the ball. You're already struggling to move the football offensively. You're down by 10 points. It is not the end of the world right now being down by 10, but you have got to be smarter when you're lining up and not do the illegal formations and not have the blocks in the back. Things that are preventable that you'd think that they would have cleaned up in the week between games.
Gardner nowhere to go. He thought about backpedaling and finally just dove forward back to the original line of scrimmage, and that is it. Meeting in the backfield there from the black and gold uniforms.
Yeah, whoever challenged Marcos Diaz up front got a good push on him, and again, McKnight thought he was going to be able to fit in behind his massive center, 6'3", 330 pounds, and Montour's defense got a good push on him. He was not able to hold his block. Nowhere to go for Gardner that time. This is a big, big second down here on this drive. Don't need everything on it, but you've got to get yourself in a third and manageable here, and I'm not even sure that this wouldn't be 4-down territory.
Trips left on 2nd and 15. Kyrell's going to loft one down the middle of the field, one-on-one coverage, and it's going to be batted away. Flag thrown, though, coming through the defender, through the receiver, I should say, says Mr. Official, and McKnight slow to get up on the play, too.
No, McKnight definitely thought the ball, and this is a shame that he's still down, but McKnight definitely thought the ball was going to be a little bit more underthrown and that he could actually try to come back and make a play. So in that sense, he does a good job to draw to initiate the contact from the defender, but that just looked like a clean swat out of the air. I'm sorry. That's a miss by this crew. That's just a solid play defensively. You're going to call that for pass interference, but McKnight played tighter coverage on 2 plays on the last drive defensively, and they didn't call anything on that. So I'm not sure where that fits in there. I know we're like red and white side as far as like where we're at, but come on, that's a little touchy right there.
Well, let's just put it here in terms of when that video gets shown on Monday morning at my PIAA officiating class, we'll talk about that. I think what the official saw is that he kind of went through the receiver, but he did make a play on the ball. So
cut out the color analyst when you talk about it, please.
Oh, absolutely. Chase Lemon saying, cut this out. I'm going to go for a big gain, first down, and add another 15 more because he got ripped out of bounds well after the play. Half the distance is going to put this ball inside the 10-yard line as the Canes enter the red zone.
Now, if you want to show that one in your class, sir,
yes.
I agree with the call on that one. That's a good call on the run. But, this is what you want to see out of Newcastle, though, is if you get the opportunity, if they're going to give you the yardage, if they're going to commit the penalty and give you the yardage, you have to take advantage of it. And they did a nice job coming back after the pass interference penalty. Another safe throw for Harris. Good initiation of the contact. Good taking of the contact over in that far side as well. And now, there's no excuse now. You have to make Montour pay for these 2 mistakes here in the next couple of seconds.
11-yard gain, then half the distance to the goal puts it right at the 10-yard line, first and goal. Trips to the left, one receiver to the right. Running that to the left is Harris. Tries to get to the corner. Not a lot of room on the short side of the field before he's bumped out of bounds by Caleb Platts after about a 3 or 4 yard pickup.
Guys on the edge did a good job, but you mentioned Platts and also Amir Gary over in that far side. They just didn't fall for the blocks. Gardner had a good block out there for him if he wanted to cut the ball back and take it up inside the hash, but those 2 guys, Platts getting the contact and then Gary ushering him out of bounds. But good call. I like that call on first down, and I like seeing Harris run the ball a little bit more here too. You just get another weapon. We know his arm's good. We know the receivers are good, but you can get him running the football. That's going to maybe add something here in this game and keep Montour at bay.
Fake the pitch up the middle, not a lot of room. Montour not fooled on the what we call the old Ernie Burks play, the fake pitch run up the middle. And then a lot of pushing and shoving, and finally they throw the flags. And a Montour player afterwards, Mark Dabrowski, pointing backwards. He's lucky he didn't get an extra flag thrown for that one.
Well, Dabrowski makes the play too.
Yeah.
So, make your play, and you don't have to show anybody up after they get the penalty called on him. But he just did a nice job of not falling. You said it, not falling for the pitch. They saw that earlier in the game. This time the play is actually run correctly this time because Gardner's in position to get the ball if Harris pitches it. And nobody on Montour went with it. But I think now they've kind of gotten the idea that Gardner is going to be a factor here trying to run the football. And I sort of like that switch up, but the offensive line is going to have to do a better job of blocking for him if they're going to continue to run out of that quarterback position.
So instead of 3rd and goal from about the 5-yard line, or it would have been at the 6, now it's at the 21.
This is 4-down territory regardless, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the clock's ticking. You're down by 10. You've already gotten almost halfway through the second. You got to get points here in this drive for sure.
Harris rolls out to his left, and he's just going to have to chuck this one into the stands out of bounds. Try to get him rolling out to the left, but no one open down the field. It would be a 38-yard field goal, and Thomas, I do not believe, has attempted one on the year.
I'm not so sure that they aren't going to try to go for this.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be a possibility to throw the football. They're going to bring in Davis at the tight end spot. Yeah, they're definitely going to go for this here as Harris comes off the sideline. Hey, he throws the ball away there, but what's your job if you're running out of space and nobody to throw the ball to is to keep the possession alive. So if they convert here, it's all because he was able to save the possession by throwing that ball away.
Yeah, absolutely. 5 on the play clock, 2 each way. 4th and goal from the 21-yard line. Freeman coming up the gut. Harris has to unload up the middle. It's going to be intercepted at the 25, 30, and then he's jacked up by Harris, who threw the pick. He had to throw it up for grabs there with the blitz coming up, and it's going to be intercepted and returned out to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, the pressure that time, it's well covered in the secondary, and you'll see here the pressure right up the middle. Harris never really has a chance to get set and step into the throw, and then you have a guy playing center field in Austin. That's his 4th interception of the season. He's able to just read the quarterback the entire way with that pressure coming. That's a nice tandem job there defensively by Montour, and a costly turnover for Newcastle on a drive in which they had to get points, especially after those 2 Montour penalties. They come up short.
Yeah, red zone trip down to the 6-yard line, but a penalty and then an interception ends the threat. Montour maintaining their 10-0 lead after that Montour Bonner Law change in possession. Make sure you protect your possessions with a community firm with a local personalized connection. Visit MadorBonnerLaw.com for more information. Handoff on 1st and 10, bouncing to the outside. Halagio is going to get to the 40-yard line. Looked like he might have been wrapped up early, but was able to bounce it out and gain positive yardage as Dabrowski lost his lid on the play as well.
And Jaden Schaefer trailing the play. Biggest difference in this game, James, and we've played now, 16, 17 minutes here. The discipline on both sides. Montour has it right now. Newcastle does not. And it's been the penalties, and outside of those 2 that were just committed by Montour, they no damage done to them. So you kind of nullify that by not giving up points. They've just stayed disciplined and true to their form here on offense, and they haven't made too many critical mistakes with penalties.
And they're pounding it with Caden Halagio and getting a little bit of a rugby scrum push across midfield to boot. That's going to be a gain of 11 as Montour moves the chains.
But see, you weren't seeing that early in the season. You weren't seeing that the offensive line 4, 5, 6 yards down the field pushing people out of the way to control this running game. They're throwing the ball down the field. 13 completions for 400 and some yards in a game for Hopper. This offensive line has come to play here tonight. I suspected they might try to work it a little bit tonight, and they've done it effectively here in this first half.
Swing pass in the flat there to Batch, bounces off his own man before he's gang tackled after about a 3 or 4 yard gain. And it's getting a little chippy out there. And I think the refs so far have done a pretty good job of getting in the way and avoiding any of those personal foul penalties, though the one has been pretty costly against Newcastle.
Well, that's the difference. The penalties have cost Newcastle more so than what they have Montour. Montour gives up nothing after a pass interference penalty and those 2 penalties in the first on that drive, the last drive there. And they didn't get bit by it. I mean, they just, again, they play disciplined football. They make up for the mistakes by having a pick and playing a good defensive possession.
Halagio hit hard there as he gets up the middle, but he's going to fall forward still after the hit from Mason Cook. Close to the line to gain of 4, 3rd and 2.
I'd be curious if we had a chance to talk to Lucero after this game, if they saw something last week that Aliquippa did up front against this Newcastle defense, because whatever they saw, they're working here tonight, and this running game has been super effective, more so, I think, than anything I've watched from them early in this season.
And here is an uncommon Lucero team mistake. 12 men on the field. He's going to push back Montour, make it 3rd down and 7. Coming at the half, we'll get you a coverage of both the Spartan Marching Band and the Red Hurricanes Marching Band. We'll talk about our Firefly Solar Band of the Week. If you're ready to go solar, go Firefly Solar. With Firefly, you get the best of everything solar from an experienced, award-winning solar installation company with a lifetime solar warranty. Visit fireflysolarpa.com for more info. 3rd and 7. Throw towards the near side. Wide open catch made. 1st down. Bouncing to the near side and finally being pushed out of bounds is the receiver, Marcos Battles. But, man, he on the out route just found an open spot, settled down, and made a big catch to move the chains.
They just run such good routes. I mean, they are such a disciplined offense, and they run such precise routes. Their cuts are great. Their distance in which they run those routes is great. They just they're such a disciplined team. They're actually a lot of fun to watch, to be honest. I mean, they're putting on a clinic in as far as operating a precision offense here. Have to give them credit where credit's due.
Ronald McClinton helped usher him out of bounds. Going on the far sideline, the defensive back stumbled, and that's going to be an easy touchdown for Daniel Batch. His 8th total touchdown of the year, 5th of the receiving variety. And Montour extends their lead 16-0 with 8:27 left here in the first half.
You don't typically see this type of play from a first-year starter or quarterback, especially at the high school level. But this is a kid in Trey Hopper who has he was biding his time here, playing behind Jake Wolf, practicing all season for the last 3 years against this tough defense. He didn't really look that way to start the play, and then when he sees the defender slip out of the corner of his eye, goes back the other way, hits a wide-open receiver. That's a veteran throw. And a heck of a drive here from Montour. And you know what? You give up no points. You want to make sure you score off of turnovers. They do just that. What a turn of events here. A 14-point swing in this game, and Montour in control.
Flags before this kick can go up.
Penalty flags prior to the kick.
I think Newcastle may have lined up in the neutral zone. They do, so the play is dead. They will replay the try. Gives us a chance to remind you that all special teams points this year, they're presented by Specialty Cookies from Laurie Heights. Every point scored by special teams in our broadcast this season, Specialty Cookies will make a contribution to the new Mark Shaw Scholarship Fund. I want to thank the Heights family for their support of the new Shawzy Scholarships here in Lawrence County. You can find out more information on how you can support the Mark Shaw Scholarship Fund by going to lcsportsnet.com/scholarship. Kick is good, makes it 17-0 Montour. Midway through quarter number 2. We'll step aside, be back in a moment. It's lcsportsnet.com, powered by LCAP.
Joseph's Marketplace is Newcastle's favorite family-owned hometown grocery store and coffee shop. Fresh meats and produce, full-line deli, homemade foods, and much more. Joseph's Marketplace has hot foods prepared every day. They also have Newcastle favorites like grape leaves, hummus, and wedding soup available daily. Follow Joseph's Marketplace on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates or stop in to see what's cooking each day. Come hang out at the brand new cafe and bakery, full of great coffee, drinks, sandwiches, snacks, sweets, and free Wi-Fi. In a rush? Go to josephsnc.com and place your cafe order online. Joseph's Marketplace, family owned and operated since 1915.
Your Joseph's Marketplace scoring drive there, Eric, a 6-play, 66-yard drive. Well, 666 works out for 6 points.
Throw that piece of paper away.
Oh, boy. Well, Newcastle has played from behind a lot this year, Eric, but this 17 points, especially against this talented Montour team, is going to be a difficult task to ask, to say the very least.
Well, and you're going against the Montour team that's shown that they want to run the football tonight too. When they're getting behind their big offensive line, they can control the tempo and the pace of this game. Good job of getting points off a turnover. You always want to make sure you capitalize on those, especially after you had a couple of mistakes. Man, there's another James special teams flag on Newcastle. They have got to get their heads right on special teams. And another flag.
Another flag thrown after the play. And I think Quaylen Davis is going to get the second flag. The first one going back on the block, I think, was Michael Harris, number 23. So you're going to get a block in the back from about the 18-yard line. That'll put it back to the 9, and then the unsportsmanlike after the play will put it down to the 4-yard line. And if my calculations are correct, that's 9 first-half penalties. Newcastle can't get out of their own way.
No, you can't do that, especially against a super disciplined team and one that operates the way that this team does. You know, you've put yourself behind the 8 ball in terms of points on the board right now, but you keep going backwards with the special teams miscues and you didn't make them pay for the. Think about how big that drive is now where you don't get any points off of it after they gave you 2 penalties. I mean, that was a must drive. Now you get a drive here. You're going to be down by 10 still. It's still going to be a 2-score game. So you've dug yourself a hole and, trying to make a play, and you're overcompensating for some things. And then the special teams is a whole other issue right now for Newcastle. But they just got to get things under control, under wraps here. There's still a lot of things they can work on in this game. But I think you're seeing a big difference in a team that knows how to win, has had the pedigree of winning, has been ready to win this season, has been pegged as a team to compete this season, and one that just wasn't used to it last year. They're trying to show everybody, hey, we're here, we're legit. They still are. There's no question about it, but it's just a difference in maturity of program and expecting to win and knowing how to put these things to bed in game and overcome them, and Newcastle has not shown that ability here in the first half.
So 1st and 10 from the 4. Gardner's going to get the handoff, and he's going to fight forward. Good positive yardage, still driving the legs out to the 10-yard line, getting out of the shadow of their own goalpost after those 2 penalties on the same play.
You can't stray from what works for you. So you're still going to have to try to run the football. You're still going to have to try to stretch the field. You're still going to have to try to get your playmakers involved in it. But now you have to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency with it, and you cannot under any circumstance lose your head in any situation right now. This is a critical point of this game where they have got to get points in this drive. There's 5 minutes and change left in the first half. You're down by 17. You cannot under any circumstance give up any yardage here for Newcastle. You have to keep moving forward and get points.
Harris will go on the keeper, trying to get to the far sideline. He'll get close to the sticks. Will depend on the spot. By the way, still have not seen Nate McKnight come back into the game, have we, Eric, after he took the shot. He's trying to work out on the far sideline. He's pacing the track right now at about the 25 behind the bench, trying to get himself loosened back up. And now we're going to have a whistle and a flag thrown after the play on the far sideline. And I'm going to have another on sports like this one. I think is going to go against Montour. One player in the area was Marcus Battles, who caught the first touchdown of the night. He may have just cost his team 15 yards, though. Interesting. I mean, there was nobody within probably 20 yards of him. Now, I will say this. When I was down on the field for pregame, getting the interviews with Coach Mazzacco, there was a fair bit of chatter going on as the Montour team went out and did their run across midfield.
See, that's what you can't fall into.
Can't do that.
That's the maturity level of teams. And when I say maturity level, I'm not talking about to the individual. I'm just talking about the program, the culture, all the things that Fred Mazzacco is trying to build with this Newcastle team. A veteran team doesn't care what the other side says. You show up, you put your uniform on the same way they do. You go play your game. You go out there and try to win it.
Quick throw to the far sideline, and not a lot of room trying to break through the tackle. And at least picking up a couple yards on the play there is Mason Cook.
Now, what's that old adage? Do your job. That's what Newcastle has to do here. Now, you've now got a second drive here in a row in which they've given you penalty yardage, so you have to make them pay for it, and you still have 3 timeouts left. And remember, Newcastle is going to get the ball to start the second half, too, so that puts a little bit more emphasis on this drive. They've got to somehow get this ball down the field and get a touchdown.
Trying to set the screen to the near side, but the throw is too low for Damian Harrison. He had some blockers in front of him, too. That was a well-set-up play, Eric. They just couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, just a short throw that time. And you do wonder what this does with Nate McKnight out of the game, what this changes for them schematically. I mean, you have things that are designed for him specifically, and he can't give it a go right now, so you're relying on some of these other guys to have to step up, make some plays, and if they aren't really kind of grasping that, then you're going to have some miscues. This is a big third down here. This is, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. There's 4:52 to go in the half. This is third down in the game right here. You have to get a first down. You have to keep this drive alive, and you got to get 7.
Trips to the left on 3rd and 9. Harris having to roll that way. Now cutting back the other way, trying to elude rushers. Steps up, got some room in front of him, but he's not going to be able to evade the entire Montour defense. Somehow saved a 10-yard loss to get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe gained a yard, but as Eric said, it's not going to be a conversion. It's going to be 4th down and 8 upcoming.
It's about as good of a run as you could see to save a possession. And, I mean, I thought for a second Harris was going to have time to really make a couple of extra guys miss. The pressure has been so good for Montour in this first half, James, that, I mean, that's a couple of times now that they've flushed him out of the pocket, and he just has nowhere to go with the ball. He doesn't want to throw it on the run and throw anything across his body or force a pass after that interception when he had pressure in his face. So he's, going to try to take off and use his athleticism.
Snap back, Thomas will boot it away. Low line drive, kick's going to bounce near midfield, take a good Canes bounce across the 40, still rolling down inside the 35-yard line. It's going to be about a 48-yard boot to change field position a little bit, but it is still an empty possession for the Canes, trailing 17-0 with 3:50 remaining in the first half.
Now, we've seen in this game Montour sort of nickel and dime Newcastle a little bit. Run the football well, control passing game, no risky low percentage, although I don't know what really is low percentage when Trey Hopper's throwing it. But, they haven't done anything like to force the issue or done anything to really, like, put their offense at risk for not coming up with points. Here's where this changes in this game, though, because you watch now in the next 3:50 that they're not going to try to go deep. I wouldn't be stunned if they try to go deep here on first down and go for somewhat of a back-breaking touchdown.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. James Bundridge, the receiver to the near side, that's the way they're going to run it. Fourth carry today for Daniel Batch to do everything running back receiver, upended near the sideline there by Travis Wetzel, but a good 4 or 5 yard pickup.
See what a disciplined run that is, though? And it's a minimal gain. It's about 5 yard gain, so they don't get the first down. But see what he does so well in that run there, Batch, is he stays to the outside and doesn't cut back. If he cuts back, his blocker's going to get nailed for a block in the back. They're going to lose the yardage, and they're going to lose a nice gain on first down. That's a disciplined football team right there, to stay to the outside, keep the run alive, and make sure you continue to get your positive yardage.
Yeah, not every play needs to go for a touchdown. You got to make sure you're gaining 4 or 5, not losing 10 on each play.
Well, that's what surprised me tonight about Montour, trying to run this football. I mean, I said it early on that I thought they were going to get behind the line and try to run the ball here tonight and control the clock, and they've done just that. But to me, I thought maybe that they would do it when they got like a 17-point lead or a 14-point lead or something like that. They've actually set up everything else that they've done offensively tonight, starting with the running game.
This is a Pontius Insurance timeout called by Montour. Make sure you give Pontius Insurance a call. Dan Pontius, Jesse Dix, or Tracy Giddings, and get started today. Make sure you take the timeout and save money if you're insurance with Pontius Insurance. Coming up at the half, we'll take a look at the first half scoring recap. It's brought to you by Creative Edge, where design and construction come together with experience. Fully licensed and insured architecture and construction management services. Give 724-652-1372. Give them a call for more information. Shenango turned into a bit of a fight there against Rochester. 21-12 the score there late in the first half. Mohawk,
Rochester just returned a kick. That's a big deciding factor there. They missed the extra point, though.
Mocock and Union both winning 14-0 in their games. Back to the action here. There it is. Deep. Gone. But a flag on the play. Will that negate what would have been a 40-yard touchdown?
I think they were trying to stop the play before it even started. Yeah, I think the officials actually tried to stop this play before tried to stop it before it really got into motion. And there was the chance right there. We said it, that they were going to try to go deep and take the lid off this defense finally to do something in the passing game, get the ball downfield on a big chunk play. They went for it right there. It was well designed. Good throw by Platts. I mean, that's an excellent throw. And they're going to get bitten by this one and have to try to do it all over again.
Yeah, illegal procedure, so good to keep the play going. It was not like a false start, illegal formation, not illegal procedure, I should say. So 5-yard penalty, the 5th penalty against Montour here in the first half. Coach Sarah will not be proud with that, but it's better than Newcastle with 9 penalties accepted in the first half. So back to 2nd down and 10. Play action. They're again going to fire one deep. This time it's Bundridge deep behind coverage. Comes back to the ball and makes the catch. Lost a pair of defenders, and then is going to get flagged because he spun the ball on the field. Can't do it.
Can't do that. That's unfortunate after such a great play. And how about the effort by Bundridge he's looking back at the ball the entire time and is able to adjust himself on the fly. So he's trying to feel the two defenders and the contact that's down the field with him, all the while looking back for the ball because it was underthrown. Hopper was able to step into it, but it was a wobbly spiral. But he is able to the entire time still feel that contact, know where he is on the field, know where the ball is at, go back to it, split the defenders, and make one heck of a catch.
43-yard pickup and then a 15-yard penalty after it. Bundridge only his 9th reception of the year, but you can see why some of these receivers are averaging 30, 40 yards per catch.
They're just smart. I mean, it's just you're talking about a bunch of veterans here. I mean, you don't do that unless you're an experienced wide receiver. Look back for the ball the entire time and feel the two defenders that are around you and still split them.
Another deep ball coming on the near sideline, and it's going to be pass interference called there. Tried to avoid the contact. Never really looked for the ball, though, was the defensive back, Damian Harrison, and he's going to get the flag.
Yeah, it's a good call. It's textbook. Didn't look back, didn't turn his head, didn't try to make a play, just threw his hands up. And see, that's the other thing that these receivers that we've seen from Montour are so good at doing in this game is they're good at initiating the contact. They really are. I mean, there's those two plays by McKnight early in the game where he was like locked on the receiver. I'm stunned he didn't get a call for those because, again, that was just textbook. But you could tell that the receivers were trying to bait him in there, just like we saw Bundridge do on that last play. They're just good at drawing the contact. And, it's an unfortunate series of events here for Newcastle with these penalties in this first half. This is a crushing drive right here, but I think a good timeout by Fred Mazzocca with 3:12 to go. He's got to get his head right, his players' heads right, and just, play – disciplined defense, just try to make a play. There's really nothing you can do about that penalty. I mean, that's a textbook call.
Yeah, and the difference, to your point, as Coach Mazzocca is getting a full explanation, the difference between the one that is called there on Harrison versus the ones that were not called against McKnight is the fact that, yes, you're right, they tried to bait a little bit of contact, but McKnight, maybe a little bit more seasoned veteran, able to avoid the contact, where Harrison just flat out went into him and made body contact. No, it wasn't a lot of contact, but it's contact while the ball's in the air while you're not playing the ball. Textbook violation, as yes, the Ponch's Insurance timeout taken there by Coach Mazzocca. Each team with 2 remaining, 3:12 remaining here in the first half. When you look at this conference, and again, I hate that there's only 6 teams in each conference in Class 4A. Montour, Aliquippa, West Allegheny, the 3 teams that many expected to be 1, 2, 3 in the Parkway. They're all 1-0. Newcastle, Ambridge, Blackhawk, each 0-1. Ambridge hosting Blackhawk tonight. The Quips hosting West A. We'll try to get you a score update on those as we go as well as part of our going your way out-of-town scoreboard. So after the timeout, 3:12 remaining in the first half. A 17-0 Montour advantage. Ball just outside the red zone. Blitz up the gut. They're going to go a little trickeration. End around. Drawing from near to far. Getting back to the line of scrimmage before being dragged down by the back of the jersey. And, yep, that's going to be another one because he got him and dragged him down by the nameplate. It's a short carry for James Bundridge. Give him about 4 or 5 yards. But half the distance to the goal. Brings him in the red zone and gives another first down.
Just undisciplined football right now. You're seeing frustration on this Newcastle side, and especially after a timeout. You just can't do that after a timeout. There's still a lot to play for in this game and this season if you're Newcastle. You can't afford to continue a path of somewhat undisciplined football the remainder of the way here. There's a lot on the table yet.
First down and goal just inside the 10-yard line, under 3 minutes to go now. They're going to go full house backfield. Batch to the left, Bundridge to the right of the quarterback. It was going to be a handoff in the middle of the Batch, but someone came right up the A-gap. It's just going to be an undesigned keeper for Hopper, and he actually picks up 3 yards out of it.
Doesn't run much. In fact, had negative yardage coming into tonight, so he's not the threat that Jake Wolf was a year ago. He's more of a pocket passer. Mason Cook is actually, I think, the one that they say came up with a stop that time. So good play by him after the play almost blown up, as you mentioned, right up the middle.
Yeah, I think it was McClinton who's getting the start tonight with the injury to Jermaine Walker not in the lineup. 3-yard gain. Second and goal now from the 7 as the clock continues to wind. Again, they're in the full house backfield look. It's actually Halagio who's to the left. Handoff is to the touchdown machine, Daniel Batch, but he's going nowhere because he ran in a big Marcos Antonio Diaz.
Who lands on him. I would not want to be on the receiving end of that.
What, you don't feel comfortable having a
no,
6'3", 330-pounder land on you?
Not at all. He's a heck of an athlete. I mean, he really did. You can watch him just eat up space when he's out there, and he definitely plays with a high motor, and he really moves well for a dude is that size. I mean, he is a monster.
No gain for Batch. 3rd down and goal from the 7. Again, blitz this time from the right side, having to flush out of the pocket is Hopper. Diving catch made in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, but there is a flag back in the backfield.
This is going to be for a late hit. This touchdown's going to stand, and it's going to be a late hit. Hopper uncorked it on the run, and I think took a shot after the play. And it is unsportsmanlike on Newcastle. Dead ball.
And I think we have a Maley Chiropractic play of the game potential right there on the diving catch in the back of the end zone made by Dominic Barron.
That young man just threw an aspirin. I mean, that was on the line, and what a beautiful throw on the run. He's got pressure. He sidesteps it and then throws on the run a dart where his guy, Barron, is going to be the only one who's going to be able to make a play. He's either going to catch that in Santonio, the sideline, or he's not going to catch it at all.
How about that for your first catch of the season? The sophomore certainly saying, hey, Coach, put me out there, buddy. 7-yard touchdown reception.
Man, that was really pretty. There's nothing else you can say about that. That was nice.
Extra point is good. 24-0 Montour over Newcastle with $1:18 remaining in the first half. We'll be back in a moment. It's lcsportsnet.com.
Firefly Solar is a proud sponsor of LC Sportsnet. From our regional business partnership to our community benefits agreement with local schools, Firefly Solar is dedicated to being an outstanding neighbor and beacon of economic support to the Lawrence County community. Let's create a stronger energy infrastructure while preserving the agricultural beauty of Lawrence County. Visit fireflysolarpa.com for more info about the Firefly Solar project. Firefly Solar, creating a brighter future in Lawrence County.
Whether you're hosting a big party, it's family dinner night, or you just need a place to go and watch the big game, the Crane Room Grill is the place to be. Need that something special for your upcoming event? Ask about the CR Brewing Company's custom brewing options to give your big day that personalized touch that your guests will never forget. Visit craneroom.com to see their full menu, or call in your takeout order now at 724-656-1553. The Crane Room Grill and CR Brewing Company, a winning combination.
I love what I do because coming in every day is different.
How can you not enjoy these kids coming up and hugging you and giving you these great smiles all throughout the day?
Seeing the progress that our kids make every single day is one of the reasons I love coming to school.
After the 15-yard penalty, the kickoff is going to go through the end zone. Give another shout out there to LCAP Early Learning. Give them a call at 724-944-7671 to help your little ones blossom. Immediate openings in childcare and preschool classrooms all across Lawrence County. 2 timeouts remaining for Newcastle. 1:18 remaining. They're starting at their own 20. Yeah, you got to try something here to get down the field and try to get a little life before halftime here, Eric. But it's a 24-0 deficit right now for Newcastle.
Yeah, and these penalties just are mounting, and they have become such a nuisance for Newcastle here in this game. And you see a little bit out of Montour that you don't like to see with the spinning of the ball and stuff after Brunbridge with the catch. The difference in the penalties in this game, James, Montour had 2 of them on Newcastle's drive and then ended up getting an interception, so it didn't even cost them. And then there, even though you get a personal foul after spinning that football, did nothing to stop them. They still came right back down the field, and what a throw by Hopper and Barron. I mean, I don't know that we're going to see a better throw, at least us personally, and catch combo on a play all season. That was so gorgeous.
Not gorgeous is taking a timeout coming from when you get to play off the sideline. The second timeout taken from Newcastle, so only 1 remaining now here in the first half. And the number 6 is not a scary number for the Cane, or for Montour, I should say. You mentioned last drive was 6 plays for 66 yards. This one, 6 plays for 65 yards. Third straight scoring drive that was 6 plays long.
They waste no time, and they have called a pretty good game from their standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Mixing it up so much tonight.
Hand off to Gardner, trying to find some room up the middle. There has not been much. Tough, strong running up the middle for a 5-yard pickup. New runner in there.
Yeah, quarterback Wetzel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he took the snap that time. Thought they might be doing some sort of a gimmick there, but it looks like he's actually going to stay out there at the position rest of the way.
I didn't see anything with Kyrell Harris, but McKnight, who got injured earlier, he's still standing on the track trying to stretch out. It looks like his helmet's been taken away from him.
Yeah, I don't see Kyrell Harris over in that sideline unless he's behind the players standing up.
Wetzel trying to get to the outside. He's not going anywhere. He's going to lose yards back towards the original line of scrimmage. Gang tackled by 4 or 5 Montour Spartans, and Coach Cerro is going to burn a timeout with 23 seconds rolling. They're trying to call a timeout. Clock's still running, though. Now it finally stops at the 20-second mark. So Wetzel in at quarterback. Again, didn't see anything with Kyrell Harris. Don't know if this is a injury decision or a coach's decision, but at the moment, trailing 24-0, and your starting quarterback, 12 touchdowns, now 3 interceptions on the year, not on the field.
No, and again, I don't see him anywhere over on the sideline either. So I'm not sure what's going on, but, you mentioned McKnight. McKnight doesn't have his helmet, and he's just kind of walking like aimlessly back on the track behind the bench, and there's no sign of Harris whatsoever. I don't know if he slipped off or what the case is, but he is nowhere to be found over there right now.
By the way, those drive summaries brought to you by Joseph's Marketplace, Newcastle's favorite family-owned hometown grocery store and coffee shop. You can check out their new cafe and bakery section, and you can place a to-go order by going to josephsnc.com. They are going to put some time back on the clock, it looks like. 22 on the clock officially.
Nate McKnight's talking to one of the trainers right now. But you're right, he doesn't have a helmet anywhere near him. And I would be curious to see what's going on with Harris, because he is nowhere to be found on that sideline right now. And it's such a long walk, too, that, you would notice him going off if he left the field.
Yeah, long trip to the locker room, you're right. Quarterback draw on 3rd down and 8. Wetzel up the gut. He's going to get back to the 25, maybe the 26. Good pickup of about 5 yards. Before Rogers makes the tackle. Final timeout taken with 16 seconds left. The way Montour can put points on the board, they're not afraid to call timeout. They can get one play and maybe get another 6 points on the board.
Yeah, and remember, they did kick a field goal, longer field goal than what they've had all season, so they just need to get down to around the 17 or so, the 15 or 17-yard line. The other thing, too, is, and I've always been a big proponent of this, to me, I don't save my timeouts for offense. I can spike the ball. The clock stops on a 1st down in high school. Depending on where the ball's kicked, they're going to probably have a chance maybe for 4 or 5 first downs. They're not going to have enough time for that many plays, but you're going to be able to stop the clock, spike the ball. You don't need the timeout on offense. You need it on defense to get the ball back. That's the key thing. You have to be ready to go with a 2-minute offense or less than a 2-minute offense. And Lucero, obviously, we know he's got a package. It's called, hey, go vertical.
It's called throw the ball deep, young man. Here's the other thing, too. Could we potentially see a fair catch scenario, one of those?
I was just actually going to say the same thing. Why not? It's get up, down the ball, get on the ball right away, down it, and try to preserve as much time as you can.
Davis is the snapper. Omar Thomas will boot it away. Low line drive kick. It's going to be caught at the 49-yard line. There's a touchdown machine catching it and quickly getting out of bounds. Wisely getting out of bounds with just 9 seconds remaining. Again, call him the touchdown machine because Daniel Batch now 5 touchdown receptions, 3 touchdown runs on the year.
So realistically, if the coverage is tight in the secondary and their best cover guy is not out there in McKnight, so if the coverage is good, you know, you can maybe hope that it's just one play if you're Newcastle and the half is over. Otherwise, if it's a quick snap and quick route and a quick throw, you probably have time for 2 plays here. And just depending on how long you want to throw the football, you can't waste too much time looking down the field. It's going to have to be like an out route 5, 6, 7 yards or whatever. Maybe it only takes 2 or 3 seconds. You maybe can get another play off and then try to kick a field goal before the half.
Trips to the left, and they're going to gain 5 yards from the hard count.
No, that's going to help. Rochester, by the way, is taking the lead.
Yeah, how about that?
On Shenango, 26-21. That's a wild game going on at Shenango tonight. Not surprised, though. We saw that Rochester team a couple weeks ago against Neshannock, and just trying to piece it together. They've been trying to do that all season long, and maybe now it finally clicked.
They do take the snap. Hopper drops back, rolls out to his right. He's going to take off and run, and he's going to get out of bounds with about 3 seconds remaining at the 30-yard line. You know he's got the arm to be able to throw that. Give him a gain of about 6 or 7.
Well, and how about the fact that there's no scoreboard down at that end of the field, so he has no idea how much time is left. He just knows that he's got to get out of the pocket and get out of bounds. That's a heads-up play, not with the scoreboard at your back. Only a play clock down on that end of the field.
Good play from the senior, but first year as a starter. Headsy move. Now a chance to lob one into the end zone on the final play of the half. And there he goes towards the near sideline, but didn't give it enough time for his team to get down there. Gardner's going to make the interception deep in the end zone. He's going to try to bring it out. Going to the far sideline. He's got room. He's got to the 20. Has to make one man miss to the 30. Look out. Cuts back inside. No, he's not going to be able to. He's going to drag out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Man, what a momentum shift that could have been. Though it is a Montour Law change in possession on the final play of the half, and why not? There's also a flag down on the final play of the end of the half because, you know, why not?
Just angled his way towards the sideline. He was trying to find a seam and then tear down the sideline and go for 6, but just ran out of a little bit of real estate on that side, and pursuit by the Montour defense made Gardner angle towards the sideline. So we got a couple of issues here that we need to figure out at the half, James. Number one, I don't know that we're going to see Nate McKnight again the rest of the night. And 2, where in the world is Kyrell Harris? Because, again, he is nowhere to be found on that sideline right now.
They called sideline warning and holding both against Montour. I think those probably were both supposed to be against Newcastle just based on where the play went. Nonetheless.
Okay, Harris is over there, and he's got his helmet off, and he's not even carrying it either. So I don't know what had happened to him, but he does not look like he is 100% in terms of walking. He's walking very gingerly off the field, but he is over on the sideline.
Everybody heading to the locker room. Montour, with the smiles on their faces, a 24-0 lead over Newcastle at the halftime break. We'll step aside, come back for the performances from the Canes Marching Band, as well as the Montour Spartan Marching Band when we return. But it's a 24-0 Montour lead at lcsportsnet.com, powered by LCAP.
For 20 years, Melee Chiropractic has treated athletes of all ages to help them get safely back to the top of their game. Melee Chiropractic has 3 full-time doctors in their office, and all 3 are former area athletes who have had to battle injuries throughout their careers. They want to help you get safely back on your feet. But more importantly, help stop the injuries before they happen. Prehab before you rehab. Attention all high school student athletes. During your sports season, a $30 visit to the Melee Chiropractic office includes an adjustment and/or all therapy is necessary. From the athletes of tomorrow to the weekend warriors and everything in between. Let Melee Chiropractic keep you in the game.
Does your blueprint not match the vision of your building project? Not with Creative Edge Architecture. From concept to creation, Jeff Measle will help tackle the complex problems, creating design solutions and construction experience. Creative Edge gives you the edge design and construction meet.
Firefly Solar is a proud sponsor of LC SportsNet. From our regional business partnership to our community benefits agreement with local schools, Firefly Solar is dedicated to being an outstanding neighbor and beacon.
We're back here at the halftime break. Newcastle Red Hurricane Marching Band coming out onto the field. We'll turn it over to the Canes Marching Band here for your halftime show with a 24-0 lead for Montour over Newcastle at the half.
The band is directed by We begin with the song made popular in 2018 by Panic at the Disco. This song peaked at number 4 on the Billboard charts. We hope you enjoy High Hope. Our final song this evening peaked at Mr. Yoho and Mr. Sizer, assisted by Raymond Shelton and Colin Onyekrak. The high kicking indications are under the direction of Danielle Bruno and assisted by Rachel Tanner. The flag line is led by Kanisha Jackson. I am your announcer, Kalina Gardner, and we thank you for your support and kind attention.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in welcoming to the field the one and only Montour High School Spartan Marching Band. This evening, we're excited to present our 2024 halftime show, titled 2010 Shuffle, where we will perform some of the top hits of the 2010s. For our first song, get ready to groove, because this number is bringing the funk from the funky streets of Uptown. Here's a hit that's sure to get your feet moving and your head bobbing. Let's welcome the high-energy rhythms and smooth moves of Uptown Funk, featuring our Spartanettes. Hey fans, hold on tight and grab your partner because we're about to have a rootin' tootin' good time. Our next song is all about letting loose and having fun. Get ready to dance and stomp along with Timber, featuring Mia Spezzoletti, our featured twirl. The Montour Band thanks you for your kind attention and warm reception. The Montour Band is under the direction of Miss Cindy Mancini. Assistant directors are Britta Schneider, Sam Hoffman, and Nick Huffnagel. Squad coaches are Ted Rydell, Elizabeth Jones, and Oliver Saul. Thank you.
Football fans, once again, please direct your attention to the sidelines near midfield as we welcome back our homecoming court. Let's welcome back Casey Boyle, Olivia Caputo, Ella Doherty, Tanner Gorsuch, Ava Huff, Eliana Canales, Alina Lash, Carly Martin, and Sarah Belden. At this time, we will crown our homecoming royalty. Please welcome back the Montour class of 2024 homecoming queen, Gianna Ramos. Gianna is here with us tonight to crown our princess and queen. And now let's get to what you've all been waiting for. The 2024 homecoming princess is Tanner Gorson. And now, your 2024 homecoming queen, Alina Lash. Congratulations, Tanner and Alina. We will crown the homecoming king and prince at tomorrow night's interlude. Congratulations to all members of the court and our queen and princess. Once again, let's hear it for Tanner and Alina.
The homecoming queen just announced, Elena Latch, your homecoming queen here at Montour High School. Right now, the Montour Spartans, the Kings on the field, though, leading Newcastle 24-0. A couple of first-half stats that are going to shake Hurricanes fans to the core. So if you're not able to deal, if you're one of the wheezy ones out there, you might want to turn down your volume for a few moments. Total yards: Montour 219, Newcastle 67. First downs: Montour 15, Newcastle 5. Third downs: Montour 4 for 7. They were also 1 for 1 on fourth down. Newcastle 0 for 5 on third downs. And then here's the big one, folks. You ready for this? Penalties. Montour, not great. 6 penalties for 64 yards. Newcastle, 13 accepted penalties for 118 yards. 13 for 118. Just can't have it, Eric Thomas. It's they got down to about the 6-yard line on one possession, had a dead ball foul after the play, had 3rd and goal from the 21 as a result. These are just the mistakes that Coach Mazzocca talked about with us in the pregame show. You can't make these kind of mistakes against any team, nevertheless a team as good as Montour.
This is they're showing tonight, James, some unfortunate things that happen when you're trying to build culture at a program. They're showing some undisciplined play. They're showing that they're a little shell-shocked. They're showing that they might not know how to dig their way out of this one tonight either. And that's all part of the growing process with these football teams. On the other end, you have a very polished Montour team who, they replaced the starting quarterback from a season ago. These guys are all vets that are up there on the line, that are at some of the skill positions for them. All guys who played on a pretty good offense last year, play for a legendary head coach in the Wpial. The culture, the system, it's all there already. Newcastle's trying to get to that point. We knew they were going to have to take some lumps getting there. It's just unfortunate that the last 2 weeks they've all shown up at one time.
Here's your first half scoring recap. First drive right down the field. They did convert on a fourth down, did Montour. A 12-play, 67-yard drive capped off by a 12-yard pass from Trey Hopper to Marcus Battle. That's the first of 3 touchdowns in the first half for Trey Hopper. First drive of the second quarter, capping off a 7-play drive that began in Newcastle territory. Braden Davin hitting his long field goal of the year, 34-yard field goal to make it 10-0 Montour, and they would just extend it from there. A couple of 6-play scoring drives, one midway through the corner, capped off by a Daniel Batch. Beautiful pass from Hopper down the far sideline as he beat one-on-one coverage. The defender slipped, and he went easily into the end zone for the score. And then a bit of a 2-minute drill drive right before the end of the half. Dom Barron makes his first catch of the year, and it's a 7-yard diving catch in the back of the end zone, tiptoeing the sideline a la Santonio Holmes. For the touchdown, making it 24-0 at the halftime break. That's your first half scoring recap. As we see who has the edge in the first half, it's brought to you by Creative Edge. From concept to creation, combining extensive construction experiences with a creative design process to make your project a reality. Here's the reality for Newcastle, Eric. They need to right the ship, and they need to do so in a hurry.
Well, they can still do some things here tonight, James, that they're going to be able to take with them the rest of the way, and that is come out, get a drive going, establish something, whether it be running the football, whether it be hitting a couple of big plays. You need something that's going to keep your confidence at a relatively high level. There's still a ton to play for this season. There's still an outside shot that they can get a wild card. They're not going to win the conference now with Aliquippa and Montour about to do battle in 2 weeks to decide the whole thing, but they can still get a playoff berth. So you have to just keep going. You have to keep trucking, and you have to keep your confidence at somewhat of a high level. So how you do that is you hang in there, you run some stuff, and you hope you can hit on a couple of plays and build on something for next week. What they can't do in the second half is they can't come out and they can't have penalties right and left because there's far too many of them in the first half. And if they continue to do that, this is going to really start to snowball into a bigger lead. That drive before the end of the half was a killer, where they had the ball down in Montour field position. They were the benefit of 2 penalties against the Spartans. They did not get any points out of that. In fact, Harris had thrown the interception, so they come away with that with nothing. Montour turns the interception into points. That basically breaks Newcastle's back at that point, and it was only 17-0. They just continue to go backwards. You can't do that in the second half. They're going to get the ball here to start the second half. They got to go down the field. They got to get some kind of points. And I'm going to tell you right now, when this is all over here tonight, Montour is not going to take their foot off the gas. They've run the ball very well. Their offensive line's been the dominant force on the field in the first half. They are not going to let off the gas. If they see an opportunity to continue to score points and look impressive and send a message that they think they're sending a message to Aliquippa, they're going to do it. They're not going to shy away from putting 40 on the board if they can get away with it. This is a team that's just too potent, too precise, and they're playing at a different level than what Newcastle is. This is the type of level that Newcastle is striving to get to, and it's going to take a little bit. I think, maybe we thought it was going to be quicker than what it's going to be, and we're finding out the last couple of weeks that it's not.
We don't have a camera near us because of this great setup we have. We're on the main level, a camera right above us here at Montour High School, so we can't give you an official chassis toss, but there it goes, another 50-50 down the drain. Give a shout out to Pontius Insurance for all they've done for us. Proud to announce the creation of chassis scholarships this year, and we are playing in every 50-50 during these football Fridays over the course of the season. If there was a night to win it had to be this night when Lee Moan is out on vacation. He's actually our Tweety Bird tonight. Can you believe that? He's the run doing the Twitter updates and doing the mobile scoreboard for us. Big shout out to Lee Moan, the tech guru that he isn't, working on all that here tonight. But he won the 50-50 for the first time in 25 years. That was his and Mark Shaw's tradition of playing the 50-50. It was their tradition of losing the 50-50, let's be honest here. But he and Erica hit the jackpot at Union a couple of weeks ago, and that was just...
That was all him.
Yeah.
That was all him. He made it a point to go get the ticket. I don't know, there was just something different about that when he got the ticket, and I don't know. I'm sick of giving him credit, to be honest.
Well,
so I'm so happy that he won that thing, but I just it's like the fish story. We're never going to hear the end of it now.
You're probably right.
The size of the marlin is going to get bigger and bigger by the year.
We appreciate that. That money goes into the Mark Shaw Scholarship Fund. At the end of this year, we will be giving out scholarships. All that to be determined, but we will be giving out at least a scholarship to high school student or students from Lawrence County who are going into some form of media, broadcast media, sports management, basically to continue on the Mark Shaw's legacy. You can get more information visiting our website, lcsportsnet.com. Click on scholarship, and that 50-50 chassis toss, again, brought to you from Pontius Insurance. Real quick before the kickoff, let's look again at those works in progress keys to the game, Eric, and I think it's pretty safe to say, Montour's established the run, yes. It's stretching the field, yes. Converting, yeah, they're 4 of 7 on third downs and a fourth down conversion. Newcastle, fast start. Maybe we should change that to a false start. They've had a few too many pre-snap penalties. They've gotten some pressure on the quarterback. I will say that. They haven't gotten any sacks, but they have altered a few plays in there. The defense, though, has not been able to make that big play as needed throughout the course of this one, and that's why we have the scoreline that we do of 24-0.
Yeah, this is a must-drive. Again, this is a possession. We'll see what happens with the quarterback spot here if Harris is able to come back, but they've got to get something going here on this drive to get this third quarter underway. There's still some things you're going to be able to take away from this game, some positivities you can take away from this game, but you've got to maintain your head. No penalties. no costing yourself yardage in the second half. Try to get through with a clean sheet and get on to next week. And maybe you can pull a couple things here and there in the next 24 minutes that you can take with you.
Those were the Works in Progress Paint Services keys to the game, now booking interior painting projects for residential and commercial properties. And yes, it is Kyrell Harris who is out there, but right now he's going to line up at the running back position, it looks like, potentially to the right of Wetzel. So interesting, maybe a little wrinkle to the offense here. Wetzel came in for that last drive. Low snap, he's going to go read. Actually, no, it's Wetzel handed to Kayvon Gardner, and he's going to get driven back for a huge loss on the play of 5 or 6 yards. So check that. Kyrell Harris getting just his 4th carry. That was one of our keys, too. Got to get KG going. That's only his 4th carry of the game. But then again, not many plays run in the first half in that only 23 plays total for Newcastle.
And I just wonder, too, if they had some packages in there for Nate McKnight, and with him not being able to come back and play the game either. He left after he took a shot early in the first half or midway through the first half. You had some packages for him. Now he's out, so maybe your top target is gone, and you haven't been able to establish anything on the ground, but they got to keep working at it.
Another low snap. Wetzel's going to keep it this time. Rolls right, now tries to roll back to the left, eludes one rusher. He's going to just basically collapse after a huge loss on the play. So 2 rough snaps and 2 backwards moving plays. Newcastle, well, it was not a great first half. It's gone to an ugly start to the second.
Yeah, 2 good defensive plays, one by Nino DeMichael, the first snap, and then the coverage in the secondary that time was pretty good by Montour. So nowhere to go for Wetzel. He just had to backpedal, and this is right now what this game is for Newcastle. It's 3rd down and 15, and they've been playing from behind the sticks way too much in this game tonight, and they just have not had anybody else offensively that has stepped up and taken the reins with McKnight out and Harris banged up and unable to play.
And it took too long, I think, on this play, too. So it's going to be 3rd down and even longer. 3rd down and 28 after this delay a game penalty.
You don't have a guy in there that's your starting quarterback typically, and he's not in a rhythm.
Yep. And we didn't see anything with Kyrell Harris. Didn't see him take a hit or anything, but you commented, Eric, you didn't see him with his helmet. He did come out, was leading the stretches with the captains in the center of the Newcastle circle. He had his helmet on then. Another low snap. Wetzel's going to throw it to the near side. He's going to make a catch at the 10-yard line as Quaylen Davis cuts inside of the 20 before he's jacked up by a multitude of sandwiching Montour defenders. Gets it back out to the 24-yard line, so a good pickup, 15 yards, but it will be another 3 and out.
Yeah, I do not see him in pads. Now, from my vantage point up here, it looks like, from what I can tell over on the far sideline, both Harris and McKnight are without pads on right now, and it looks like McKnight might actually have his arm in a sling.
We have a blocked punt. It's going to be scooped up and going into the end zone is Montour. Picking it up was Amir Gary. He's going to return it 5 yards on the blocked punt. And Montour just looking like they're playing with all the fire in Newcastle, not even able to try to put a squirt gun of water on it.
Yeah, that was just speed. Take a look at it right here. Up the field. Gary's had a couple of opportunities to make plays tonight. And he has that speed off the edge. They have so much beef in the middle with those 2 defensive tackles, and then he's the guy that comes off the edge. They bring him in on the punt team, and he's able to bust off the edge again.
Extra point is good. Give it a block punt return for a touchdown of 4 yards. 31-0, all Montour. We'll step aside. Back in a moment at lcsportsnet.com, powered by LCAP.
Lawrence County SportsNet is proud to honor Nishanek's tennis double duo, Giada Kappa Bianco and Maddie Arrow as the September Red Zone Female Athletes of the Month after winning the section's championship. LC SportsNet is also proud to honor Wilmington's Santino Toscano as the September Red Zone Male Athlete of the Month for winning the District 10 championship in golf. Congratulations and best of luck to Neshannock's Maddie Arrow and Giada Capabianco and Wilmington's Santino Toscano, the September Red Zone Athletes of the Month.
When it comes to shopping for insurance,
After the game, we will have our MVP Insurance MVP of the Game award. Big thanks to our friends at MVP Insurance. Getting the game at MVP. They coach clients to better prices, better coverage. Call MVP for the win. No sabotage here. It's just all Montour. 31-0 after that blocked punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, they run the ball well. They played defense tonight. Now they got to play on special teams. They've made Newcastle pay for a turnover going in towards the end zone for a potential touchdown. I'd say that's about as complete of a game as you could possibly get out of a team, and we still got plenty of time left.
Bobbled kick goes into the end zone for a touchback.
No, I just think that they you're seeing you're seeing a difference right now in a program that's established, and a team that has an established head coach. Not that Fred Mazzocco isn't established, but he has the rapport with the program already. Mm-hmm. This is what Newcastle is aspiring to be. Nobody's going to be Aliquippa, at least in the current iteration of Aliquippa football, but you got to be a challenger towards them. This Montour team for sure is, and this is what Newcastle's trying to build itself into.
Wetzel, quick hitter to Chase Lemon. He gets his first catch of the game out past the 30. 32-yard line, 12-yard gains. Check, that's the second catch of the game for Lemon. But only the sixth first down of the game for Newcastle.
And you know what? And I haven't seen all of the teams in our area, but the ones that I've been around, like Laurel, Mohawk, Union, Neshannock, now this Newcastle team, and knowing Freddie from last year, the one thing I've noticed about all of those programs, every single head coach does not miss an opportunity to teach something from every game. I'll finish that in a second.
Yeah, Kayvon Gardner with a pitch for a short gain. Doesn't go down. Good job to fight off a couple of tacklers. Picks up 3 or 4 yards. Go ahead, Eric.
And let's take a look at what Union did last week. So Union played its best, by far, played its best game of the season last year at Mohawk. This year at Mohawk last week. And they ran the ball effectively. They were in the game at halftime. They looked remarkably different from when they played Western Beaver 2 weeks prior to that. They learned from that game. Now tonight, they're playing probably their best game of the season again. You grow by the week. You don't miss a chance to educate your team and teach them certain lessons, and this is going to be one of those games where when Fred Mazzocco puts the tape back on, he's going to have a lot to teach these guys.
Swing pass and nowhere to go on the play. Thrown down as Amir Aikens getting his first touch of the ball game. He's going to lose yards, though, probably a loss of 5.
So now what happens going forward is, they went up against the King last week. They were unsuccessful. Now they went up against the number 2 team this week, and so far they've been unsuccessful. So now, next week becomes the game of the year. Next week becomes where you have to put all of your effort and momentum and get it all back and work to get it all back. Next week is when we find out what this team wants to be going forward. It's as simple as that.
The loss of 6 on that play as Aikens lowers his shoulder on the far sideline before he gets bumped out of bounds. Check that was the keeper for number 5, the quarterback Wetzel, playing here in the second half. And we believe we see Kyrell Harris no longer in uniform, actually, that he is in street clothes, as well as Nate McKnight. And worse news for McKnight is he is in a sling on the far sideline.
Yeah, it looks like he is got the arm wrapped up. He had a heavy arm wrap on that after he left. And when he was pacing back and forth on the track, he had that arm, that elbow wrapped up. It was like higher portion of his forearm up through his elbow. So hope that's not anything that's going to linger for him because they're going to need him on the field.
Omar Thomas having to jump up to get this one, but he does get it off. And fair catch taken at the 42-yard line. there by Montour, leading 31-0, 7:16 remaining. We didn't get a chance to get you your starting lineups again, but remember your winning word today from the Crane Room is Saturday, and that's because we have 4 games tomorrow around Lawrence County. More on that in a minute, but real quick, big thanks to the Crane Room. Call ahead, reserve your seat for after the game, and if you go to the Crane Room tonight, say the word Saturday, and you will get your free starter, your free Crane Chips starter there from the Crane Room, or you can, again, place a to-go or takeout order as well. Tomorrow, the big one early on is Elwood City at Western Beaver for first place in the MAC. That's going to be a great one there. Our friends at ECS will be taking care of you on that one. Laurel at Summit Academy. Our Laurel streaming crew will be having the broadcast for that. And Neshannock at Burgettstown. Homecoming. More on that in a moment. And then we'll have the Wilmington game to end at the nightcap. Going deep on this one, and we're going to get a flag thrown in. The armbar came in just a second too early from Kyrell Harris, but he was step for step with big number 0, Daniel Batch. I did it again. Number 3, Kayvon Gardner, the one on the interference penalty.
And tight coverage, and not surprised that Montour is trying to go for that, what's going to be officially the knockout punch, because that would put the clock running the rest of the way. They just, James, they're relentless. I mean, I really, really want to see this team challenge Aliquippa in 2 weeks and see if they can stretch the field against them, because Aliquippa's got Larry Moon. They've got all these guys in the secondary that are among the elite players, not just in the state but country. And are they a serious challenger to this team? Is this the first time that Newcastle and Montour are going to meet this season? I mean, we don't know. We just don't know what the rest of it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's still so much to play and so much to gain from a game like this, even though it hasn't gone in your direction. You come back in a couple of weeks in the playoffs and you get this team again, you got to play a whole lot different. You have to learn from everything you've done here tonight. You have to anticipate that you're going to see them again, because this team is going to be in it the long haul, and Newcastle is going to have to go through them to possibly get where they may want to go or get where this program wants to aspire to get.
Something you haven't seen very often for Newcastle today, the linebackers going through the defense. McClinton in there with Mason Cook for the tackle. So they also called a penalty on Montour there. So it was a 15-yard penalty for the pass interference, but then 5 yards back it looked like a call on Montour for something. And you mark off both of them in high school, and one's a 15 and one's a 5. Loss of 2 on that carry, though. On the first backwards plays of the day. Dropping back on 2nd and 12. Another one firing down the field, wide open behind the defense, but he dropped it. Oh, Marcus Battles, who had the first touchdown, had more visions of 6. But it let it go and hit him right square off the 9. And drops to the turf. One of the few mistakes you've seen from these Montour receivers. But, man, you can see what a beautiful ball. This is a kid who didn't start last year, Eric.
Well, I mean, Jake Wolf, 700, almost 800 yards rushing, almost 3,000 yards passing. That was going to be tough to beat out, but Trey Hopper's paid his dues, and he has learned. And see what I mean, James? I mean, they're just so – they want to go down the field so much. And sometimes it surprises me when you watch them, and I watched almost every one of their games getting ready for this week. It sometimes surprises me in the situations in which they do this. But then you come back later in the game. Now, it's 31-0, so, I mean, they're not going to, all right, of course you want to connect on that pass, but if you don't, you're up by 31.
Yeah.
But when you see them do those things like that early in games, there's just such a confidence about them that it's like, all right, if we don't get this, we're just going to come right back. We're going to get it again. Like, they're relentless.
Second punt of the night for Montour. It's going to bounce at the 15. It's going to take a Spartan roll inside the 10, inside the 5. It's still going down to the 3. It's going to be finally down at about the 2-yard line. Just everything going Montour's way here tonight, Eric. A 31-0 lead midway through the third quarter, and again have pinned the Canes in the shadow of their own goalpost.
And it's going to be the Montour defense once again on the field. They've been playing really well here in the second half. And, the other thing, James, this is such a well-built Montour. I mean, they have a good offensive line. They have a good enough running game that I think if they needed to rely on it, they could. And they got a stud quarterback. And what a surprise that – I mean, anybody who watches the game of football now you have to have the quarterback. If you don't have the quarterback, you're not winning games. It's as simple as that. It's everybody always makes fun. Well, it's not, it's not Mahomes against Burrow. Yeah, it is, because if you don't have either one of those guys, you're not going to be in the game. Like, you have to have that dude who's back there that can take charge of a game and direct your offense and sling the ball. And Trey Hopper, man, he has arrived on the scene and shown that he can certainly do that.
Travis Wetzel pass into the flat. Lemon makes the catch. He'll get a 3-yard gain for his 3rd catch of the game. Coming after the game, we'll have our Maley Chiropractic Play of the Game award as well. Visit Drs. Mitch Maley, Chris Argero, Kelsey Bowser, voted best of the best chiropractor in Lawrence County. I do believe Drs. Argero and Bowser will be back. They've been on their honeymoon. I guess we can give them a little time away. Congratulations to the newlyweds, and thanks again to all that Maley Chiropractic has done for us in now our 4th year here at lcsportsnet.com. Handoff to KG, bounces off the first tackler, fights forward for a gain of 3.
Third down and 4.
11 carries to 45 yards unofficially for Kayvon Gardner now on the night. Mark it at the 8. So 3rd down and 4 to go. And right now, Newcastle, again, without your top receiver, without your quarterback, just looking for some positives to work on. Can you get a first down? They're going to go pump and go down the far sideline, and a jumping catch made. Beautiful ball from Travis Wetzel down the far sideline out to the 46-yard line.
It's just one-on-one contact the whole way up the field and jostling for position. That's a good ball by Wetzel. That thing was right on the money, and Mason Cook doing a heck of a job to fight off the coverage, make a play with little room to go on the sideline. So at least if you need it from Wetzel, he's got the ability to do it. That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a 38-yard completion. He's now got 4 for 4 for 59 yards. Now he's running for his life on the near sideline. Still throws it down the field. Had a man open behind the defense, but aired it out just a little bit too much as he was trying to find Damian Harrison streaking down the near sideline.
Trying to schoolyard that. There is a flag down by the 50.
Yeah, I think you're going to have linemen downfield after the quarterback scrambling around. And here's a big issue. Oh, no, they're going to wave it off. Never mind. I guess they were close enough.
And, the other thing about that throw, and we saw Kyrell Harris do this early in the game too, trying to lead the receiver on the throw, so it's far enough out of the reach that the defense can't make a play. You're putting the ball in a position where only your guy is going to really make the play. And you'd like to see that. If it's a busted play and you have to get rid of it, you either throw it out of bounds or, throw it incomplete or throw it away, or throw it in a place where only your guy is going to go make a play. And we've seen these Newcastle quarterbacks do that a couple times tonight, and that's some veteran play there.
Zone read, and everybody on the QB. Loss of 4 as defense not fooled on the fake.
No, and this Montour defense has not done a lot as far as pressure until this second half, and it's by design. They did the same thing last week with Blackhawk. Their defense got more aggressive as the game went on. That's a Blackhawk team that was averaging 40 points a game, and Montour basically put the clamps on them fast after an early touchdown. They've got such a great combo, again, off the edge. Dylan Rogers and Amir Gary, and then in the middle you got your 2 big just handfuls in the middle of those defensive tackle spots. There they come again.
Keeper for Wetzel tries to bounce to the outside. Gains 1 or 2 before he's ushered out of bounds after a short gain.
They just know right now, outside of that pass play that we just saw to Cook a couple plays ago, they know that there's no real true threat to throw the ball down the field. So the coverage is more or less staying at home, and they're able to step up and make plays because they've kind of made Newcastle somewhat one-dimensional here. So it's everything's kind of unraveled for the Red Hurricanes here in this game, and they're trying to fight through it, and they're trying to find something positive out of this. And Montour is they're playing right into Montour's hands. This is what they do to teams. They pile on quickly.
Short punt is going to bounce at the 30 and take a Montour bounce before it's down at about the 32-yard line.
Another flag after the play.
Something had to have been said on that one because I thought the refs did a good job. They pushed a little after the play, but then players started walking away and then the flag threw. So we'll have to see what that one is all about as you check out again the out-of-town scoreboard going on your bottom line. Why drive when you can relax and ride with the Newcastle Transit Authority? Hey, and if gas prices continue to rise, save money and save money on gas. Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. And remember, senior citizens ride for free. Here's the other thing. That was Marcus Battles part of it there. The call on Sportslike against Montour. That is his second. I was going to say he is ejected. That is Marcus Battles' second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty of the game. So he has now been ejected, and that means that he will also not be able to play in the next game at Ambridge. And Coach Sarah's got to get an explanation, but basically that's how his first one was too. He said the magic word. He must have said something because the play was over. The players were nowhere around each other at that point. He must have turned back and said something the officials didn't like. His second unsportsmanlike means he's done.
I don't know Lou that well, but I know that he is not going to be happy about that at all. He walked out off the field and he just sort of told one of his players to get away from him because he didn't want to talk about it. It's an unfortunate situation in a game where you're up 31-0. There's just absolutely no reason to do that. No reason to jeopardize yourself.
And that's it. That's what it does, though, is that it jeopardizes you, and you're now gone for not only the rest of this game, but the next one.
Might be a little bit more magnified if it was Aliquippa next week and not Ambridge, but no disrespect to Ambridge, but
they ain't the Quips.
No.
Hopper, man wide open on the far sideline. First down and more, out past the 35 to the 40-yard line on that completion to Pratts.
And you have so much talent at these receiver positions, and these guys run such great routes, and the way they spread the field out, so much attention has to go to these other guys like Bunbridge and Alston, especially Alston, that it opens everything up for everybody else underneath or the second and third area receivers that Hopper just takes his time to find it. Made 2 reads that time. One of them was open. He fed it to him, and nice big gain on first down.
12 of 20 for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns for Trey Hopper. Caleb Platts making that catch. By the way, he's the one who blocked the punt that was returned for a touchdown there by Amir Carey. First and 10 at the 40 for the Spartans. Throw out into the flat, space out in front, makes one man miss as the running back Palacio. Come back to the near side. He's got some space in front of him across midfield, and he is hit hard. Big stick. Mason Cook, we've called his name a bunch tonight on defense. Big, strong hit there, but that's after a 15-yard catch and run.
Coming back across the field, too, and he was able to find some space to maneuver after that, but that's now twice they've gone to that side of the field. Nobody's even gone with the receiver, and that's what I'm talking about. So much attention has to be paid to all these other guys that Hopper can go down to his 4th read and find a dude underneath.
Still going in the air. This one, though, a little bit too far out in front of the intended target in Bundridge. I'm out of room on penalties. Newcastle is not allowed to get any more. My sheet is out of room. Rochester extending their lead as we talk about the out-of-town scoreboard. 34-21, they lead Shenango. Mohawk with a 28-7 lead. They just started the 4th quarter there in Bessemer. They're leading New Brighton. 4th quarter action also at Union, 21-0. The Scotties leading Beaver Falls. Throw to the near side. Bundridge had some space, catches it immediately, runs forward, gains about 5 or 6 yards before he's dragged backwards. Bundridge, his second catch of the game. Here's what's crazy to me. 7 different players have made a catch today for Mohawk. 6 of them have multiple catches. It's not a one-trick pony, to say the least.
Yeah, that's an impressive statistic. And it's all about depth at that position.
Well, you see that right now with Newcastle.
Yeah.
You lose your top receiver who can step up and make a difference. Heck, the one guy who has the one catch, his first catch of the year might have been the most impressive catch we've seen by anybody all year.
And we haven't heard, the other thing we haven't heard, other guy we haven't heard from, Chase Lemon's been absent too.
Yeah, Biazzi leads the team, believe it or not, with 3 catches tonight for Newcastle. Blitz off the edge, well seen by Hopper, flies to the near side, throws it down the field for Bundridge. He's got it in the end zone. Touchdown. Even when things look like they might go right for Newcastle, Hopper tosses his 4th tutty of the game, a dime over the top to James Bundridge.
He's a right-handed quarterback. He's running to his left, and he arches that, like floats that just perfectly up the sideline. I mean, he's thrown away from the momentum of his body. He's thrown it against the grain, so to speak, and just lofted that thing so perfectly on the money, in the hands, in stride. This kid has every tool you need to be a big-time quarterback.
Got that as a 43-yarder. We'll confirm that here in a moment. 43-yard touchdown pass to 4 different players, and the clock will continue to run. The mercy rule in effect. The extra point is good to make it 38-0 Montour. 4 touchdowns to 4 different players for Trey Hopper. Back in a moment with the Spartans having a 38-0 lead over Newcastle. Late third quarter on lcsportsnet.com.
Works in Progress Painting wishes a successful and satisfying season to all the Lawrence County sports teams and athletes. Work hard and bring honor to your team, school, and family in how you play. Joe Wright and his family have been providing painting, window cleaning, and other property services for business and homeowners in the Lawrence County area for over 10 years. Their goal on every project is to provide a meaningful service that honors their customer, God, and their family, and to have fun while doing it. Works in Progress is now booking interior painting projects for both residential and commercial projects. Call Joe today at 724-714-4294 to discuss your next project.
Tired of gasoline costs? Why drive? Let the Newcastle Transit Authority take you where you want to go. Serving the city of Newcastle and stops throughout Lawrence County, as well as weekday service to Pittsburgh. Public transportation just makes sense. Why drive when you can relax and ride? For more information or for route schedules, log on to newcastletransit.org. The Newcastle Transit Authority, going your way. And remember, senior citizens ride free.
Fourth touchdown pass of the evening for Trey Hopper. Trey had a tray, but that one right there, a 4-pointer. Over the top, beautiful pass to James Bundridge, his 4th different touchdown recipient on the evening as well. The mercy rule now in effect. Chase Lemon will get this kickoff, spins out of 1 tackle, out past the 30 to the 32-yard line. You mentioned Chase Lemon. Got to talk about him for a moment because he is a spark plug out there, listed at 5'10". I think that's probably being generous. Talking to people who have known him growing up, that he's been this way all his life, just a little Energizer bunny. Playing Little League, they called him Chase Flies. That's all he did. He just ran out in the outfield and chased flies and caught every single one of them no matter what because he would just run around like crazy. We've seen that all year long, kind of been bottled up today, but he has been one of the sole bright spots, really, of Newcastle today.
Yeah, had a big game against General McLean to open the season, averaging 12.5 yards a catch, and talented receiver. I mean, they have the skill players, James. They just have to get the pedigree. That's what Newcastle, I mean, Freddie Mazzacco's had to do this basically from scratch.
Kayvon Garner bounces it outside, but as you expect when there is a bounce outside, probably going to get a flag on the play, and we do.
You're talking about somebody who steps in to not just a head coaching role at his school, an administrative role. So he's running the entire athletic show at Newcastle now. That means he has to be in tune with every one of his athletes, every one of his coaches, be in the building all day long. I mean, I think that's a really important factor in coaching these days. But it's no knock on Stacy Robinson, but it was not working when he was there. And they needed somebody to step in there and rebuild the culture from ground up. Well, Fred got the foundation down the first 4 weeks. There's no question. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful house when it's completely built. But it's going to take some time to get it perfected. And it's not there. You have to go through these type of games to get where you want to be. It's simple as that.
That's the end of the third quarter, or it should be the end of the third quarter. Yeah, there's zeros on the scoreboard. Teams are still out there on the field. Well, because there was an offensive penalty, they're have to do an untimed down. Okay. Though I thought that the defense would have the option of whether to have it run an untimed down. So I guess we will run that untimed down after the 16th penalty of the game against Newcastle.
Amazing.
Well, they also marked it off as an 8-yard penalty, so must have been a holding down the field. How about jumping around? The tying down is going to lead to a pick six. James Bundridge gets into the end zone. So after he catches the touchdown, he picks it off and makes a house call to end the third quarter.
Just wrestled that ball away from the receiver. Again, we've seen good, really up in somebody's shirt, tight coverage. You see it on the replay there. We've seen these corners play ultra tight on both sides of the ball. Bunbury makes a great play, takes a shot at the end of the run. And this machine just cannot be slowed down right now.
It's unofficially about a 22-yard pick six. We'll get you the official number here in a moment. Extends the Montour lead. Snap back, Bevan with another kick. Up and good for Daven. Braden Daven having himself a day, got a field goal, and now 6 extra points that are good. 45-0 Montour. That's the end of the third quarter. Back in a moment on Lawrence County SportsNet, powered by LCAP.
When the high school season heats up, make sure you have the best gear to support your school. Head to the Red Zone on Wilmington Road in the Shannock for all your county sporting apparel needs. From sporting goods to custom apparel to embroidery and more, the Red Zone has it all. Quality gear for all 8 schools in the County of Champions. Stop by and enter the Red Zone or visit them online at theredzonesports.com. Score big at the Red Zone.
Firefly Solar is a proud sponsor of LC SportsNet. From our regional business partnership to our community benefits agreement with local schools, Firefly Solar is dedicated to being an outstanding neighbor and beacon of economic support for the Lawrence County community. Let's create a stronger energy infrastructure while preserving the agricultural beauty of Lawrence County. Visit fireflysolarpa.com for more info about the Firefly Solar project. Firefly Solar, creating a brighter future in Lawrence County.
We start the fourth quarter with Montour coming off a pick six and now a 45-0 advantage. Luke Medvitz, who kicked that last extra point, boots this one away on the kickoff, trying to get to the far sideline on the return. That was Amir Akins on the return out to about the 35-yard line. 45-0, as I expect we're going to see some fresh faces out there on the field for both teams with a running clock the rest of the way, Eric.
Yeah, it's just a unfortunate night. Sometimes it gets you, and for 2 weeks now it's gotten Newcastle as they find out what it's going to take to compete in this conference, this Parkway Conference, along with I think with the Allegheny in 5A. This is such a crapshoot if Newcastle can play up to its potential like we've seen early in the season, but the last 2 weeks have not gone their way against the 2 best teams in said conference.
That was Rondell McClinton on that carry. Up the gut for no gain.
So you think about what's going to happen the rest of the way. And with 4A and the way that they're taking the playoffs this year, obviously 6A, there's 4 teams that get there. 5 is going to be tough to figure out. But you get down to 4A and you get the Big Six, and Thomas Jefferson, really the runaway team in that conference.
Wetzel smart to slide and avoid a hit there, and I'd say they're going to throw a flag. I'm not sure.
He gave himself up.
Well, I'm not sure anybody hit him. I don't think Michael Lewis is the one who kind of went over the top of him. I don't think he hit him.
No, but nobody touched him. But somebody has to finish in second place in the Big Six, and right now Chartiers Valley has a 1-game lead over Trinity in that conference. You get down to the Greater Allegheny, Knock and Mars. Mars hadn't won a game since they were down in Florida, and then they come back last week and win. So Knock and Mars and McKeesport are all 1-0 in the conference, and they're all either 2-3 or 2-4. So somebody has to finish 1-2 there in terms of standings. Parkway, obviously this Montour team, Aliquippa, West Allegheny, Newcastle. The game of the year for Newcastle becomes when they play West Allegheny. And they're going to have to win that game if they want an outside shot at a wild card. I do think that if Newcastle West Allegheny, I do think the loser of that game is still going to be alive, because when you go down the rest of the way, the only other team that could potentially be a wild card is going to be Freeport. Deer Lakes and Amani Christian are going to cancel each other out. Somebody has to win that showdown when they meet, and then Freeport sits in third place right now.
Nifty move from Amir Akins, but he got jacked up as well on the carry. In on the tackle, Michael Lewis combined with David Katalesic.
And I misspoke there because Deer Lakes and Amani are in the in 3A. So
right.
you have I'm scrolling too fast. You have 3 conferences in 4A. So in that Parkway, West Allegheny, Newcastle, probably somewhat safe. Ambridge is going to be, that's a big one next week with Montour, because they sit at 3-2. Blackhawks 3-3, but they're 0-1 in the conference itself. I don't know where you go as far as a wild card, and that's why I think Newcastle's probably still going to be safe, but they're going to have to beat West Allegheny if they want to secure one of those spots.
Throw out to the flat. Lemon off to the races, past the 30, to the 20, putting on the Jets. Can he stay in bounds? Yes, he can. Chase Lemon puts Newcastle on the board. 46-yard catch and run from Wetzel.
It's a good safe throw by Wetzel. He's shown a little moxie here in this latter stage of the first half and into the third and fourth quarter. Good to see Lemon get off to a start there on that route, and then he just turned on the Jets and nobody was going to catch him. That's why he's averaging 12.5 reception. It's unfortunate that it's going to come a little too late for Newcastle here tonight, but take some positives out of this wherever you can get them.
Omar Thomas on to attempt the extra point. Low snap, able to handle it. The kick, though, kind of off the side of the foot, and it's going to go no good. So it remains a 45-6 scoreline. We'll keep it right here at lcsportsnet.com. Powered by LCAP with Air